Wimbledon 2024 with Gigi Salmon
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to 5 Live Sport, and from the Wimbledon Championships we have made it to day 13. The skies are not clear, they're a little bit grey and overcast, but the rain has stayed away. The roof is currently on centre court, but that might change as we get closer to the start of the match at 2 o'clock. You might be able to hear the hustle and bustle as I'm standing in one of the main walkways at the Championships as people walk past, drinks in hand. Now we are 140 years on from the very first Ladies Singles Championship today, and it will be the turn of Jasmine Paolini and Barbora Krejčíková to try and write their name into the history books amongst some of the all-time greats.
And surely Everett cannot come back from this position against King. King at match point, serves. A fine return by Everett down the line is out, and that's it.
King. I used to dream about it as a child. I read every book I could on the history of tennis, and of course Wimbledon was really the one.
She's done it. Last year, the Duchess said to her, "Don't worry, it might be third time lucky." And it was.
Martina comes to the net. Up goes the lob from Garrison. It's out over the baseline. The match is over, and Martina Navratilova is Queen of Wimbledon for a record 9th time.
Has she got the nerve? She serves to the backhand of Graf. McNeil comes in to make the backhand volley. Graf will go cross court. McNeil will make the winner. And Steffi Graf, the Queen of Wimbledon, has lost her crown.
The power and speed with which the girl's hitting the ball now is quite incredible.
Serena Williams against Venus Williams, and it's Serena serves now down the centre, and Venus returns it into the net. And Serena Williams has won the Battle of the Sisters.
Mary Bartley is rushing now. Here she comes with her 4th championship point. Serves an ace! And 6 to her knees! She's the Wimbledon champion!
Barty hits the forehand. Backhand from Pliskova into the net. Ash Barty realises a childhood dream on centre court.
Goes for the cross, got the volley winner from Marketa Vondrousova, who is the Wimbledon champion. She cannot believe what she has done. She is the Wimbledon champion. It is a special place, it is a special day, it is a very special title to win. It is Barbora Krejčíková against Jasmine Paolini. For the 8th time in 8 years, we're going to have a new name written on the Venus Rosewater dish. And I'm very happy to say that I'm alongside Naomi Brodie, Laura Robson, correspondent Russell Fuller. How are we all? Firstly, it is finals day, ladies' finals day.
Great. It's quieter in the players' areas today, but it is buzzing around the grounds, isn't it? There's a buzz to finals day, whether it's men's or women's, and it's dry.
Well, it's not raining, so that's a good thing. Although there's some ominous-looking clouds. What I've noticed around the grounds today, people have levelled up. The dress code today has levelled up. I'm seeing a lot of great outfits. I'm seeing a lot of heels, and I admire the commitment to just. Yeah, a fancy dress.
Yeah. I'm going to test your walking and talking. How good is everyone at walking and talking? Russell, how's your walking and talking?
We're about to find out, aren't we?
Okay, right.
Can I walk in a forward direction? That would make it easier.
Well, I'd like you to.
Explain the buddy system that we've got going on.
I know, it looks a little bit weird. Basically, we're in 2 separate pairs. Now, we're outside Court 18, where the longest match in the history of not just Wimbledon, but in tennis took place. And we're walking, Naomi, down through the main gangway. And we're hoping that all the people going that way and coming this way are just going to walk to one side so we can make it through.
Yeah, we're hoping they're going to part the Red Sea. But as I say, it is busy today, so you might hear a few excuse me's and a few shoving people out the way, but we'll manage.
But Laura, what a day. We are going to have an 8th different name in 8 years on the trophy this afternoon.
I can't wait. What an opportunity for both players, especially for Jasmine Paolini. How amazing to see her in back-to-back Grand Slam finals, given that just a few rounds ago she was points away from losing against Madison Keys, then the epic semi-final. So yeah, I'm sure that's got to release some nerves, the fact that she won in the manner that she did. And for Krejčíková, having been here before, not at this tournament, but she's a Grand Slam winner. So not the 2 people we would have thought at the start of the tournament, but 2 very, very deserving finalists.
And
Laura,
the fact this is going to be the
Maddie?
8th... Sorry, Naomi?
I was just going to
ask
Were you
wanting to come in there?
Yeah, I was going to ask if Laura's spoken to Maddie, because as you say, she was serving for the match when she got injured against Jasmine, wasn't she? Is that been a weird feeling?
She's back home in Florida going shopping. I think she's okay.
I was just going to say how unsurprising it is perhaps that we are going to have an 8th different winner in a row, because as we said at Grand Slams, not just at Wimbledon, especially on the women's side in recent years, how hard these draws are to predict. And you wouldn't have expected either of these players necessarily to reach the final, in that Barbora Krejčíková had won only 7 matches all season heading into Wimbledon. Jasmine Paolini is an Italian. She's the first Italian woman to reach the Wimbledon final in the Open era, and hadn't won a single match on a grass court at tour level before this year. So it's remarkable that the two of them should be in the final here as we continue our walk, and we've just passed the great Greg Rosetsky, who couldn't be with us today because he's got a very important invitational doubles match to play, hopefully on one of the outside courts, Laura.
And hopefully he'll do a lot better than my 0 out of 3 record from this week. I haven't had the best success in the old invitational doubles, but yeah, it's just meant to be fun out there. So a good environment, good on the grounds pass today, just mingling around, catching some tennis. But yeah, I think what I like about this final is that it's two such contrasting game styles. I like the variety that Paolini can bring. Krejčíkova's got an epic slice. She's got maybe more firepower in her game, but I think it makes for a really interesting matchup.
I just walked into a tree, which wasn't ideal because I was actually walking backwards down the slope. If someone was filming this, it would look very strange.
We're walking so slow.
We're walking very, very slowly. I'm delighted, though, that we have come across a Gaia Picardi, an Italian journalist who we spoke to at Roland Garros, talking about the Italians and how well they were doing. Gaia, this is absolutely sensational. Here we have Jasmine Paolini, hadn't won on grass before this year, and now she's a Wimbledon finalist.
It's incredible. I mean, I think we can say that if in Paris we were talking about a fairy tale, this is a reality. This is actual reality. She's having the time of her life. She's in the best shape ever. She found along the way her strokes, her positive mindset, the smile, you know, she has never lost it. And here we are. What can we ask for more?
I think everyone just seems stunned, including Gaia herself, and she's been following Jasmine for years. Let's hear from the player in her own words, who says it's beyond her wildest dreams.
Oh, it means a lot. I have still to realize, I think, a little bit, but it's good to remember that as a kid I was watching finals here and dreaming about to play one day, but I think it was too big, you know, to dream it. But yeah, I'm so happy and so grateful to be in this position.
If you weren't dreaming of finals and, you know, being world number one and things, what were the dreams for you when you were growing up?
I mean, to win Wimbledon was one of my dreams, but I was too scared to say that, you know. Yeah, I think, you know, just to be in this position and to play a finals, you know, it's also a dream to have a good run here in Wimbledon as well. It's a special tournament. I don't know, I'm gonna give my 100% to try to make a good, you know, good final, good match, because I have to remember to be grateful that, you know, I'm in a good position and it's one I was dreaming of it, you know.
You come from Tuscany. This is like a vintage year. This is when you are like a fine wine and you're better than ever. In terms of what you put that down to, how can you describe what's happened this year? What has changed for you?
I don't know. It's crazy this year. I have to say it's crazy, but, you know, I'm so happy for me and also for my team, for my family who believed also always in myself. They helped me, I think, to believe more also in myself, because I wasn't believed that I could do those kind of things, you know. And yeah, I'm really proud of it for me, but also for my team. And it's a great year at the moment, so we're trying to keep going.
And in terms of the fact that you have reached the young, still to me, but in tennis terms, maybe slightly older age, that you've been through everything that you have done, does it make you appreciate everything even more?
Maybe yes, I don't know. But, you know, I'm trying to don't think about this. I'm trying to just, I'm in a good position. I'm enjoying what I do. I love tennis. This year it's been amazing for me. I repeat to myself to just enjoy the moment, because it's a really good moment for me, and I'm really grateful that I made such a nice experience this year. So I try to focus on the present, and don't forget to where I'm coming from, just to this, I have to be, I have to think about this, I think, when I step on court.
Jasmine Paolini taking part and walking out to centre court today for the Wimbledon final. Now, Gaia Picardi, who's alongside us, it feels to us like the changes happened quite quickly, because this year we've seen the results. The win in Dubai, there was the Masters doubles title in Rome, there was the final in Paris. What has the difference been, and when did this change start to come about with Jasmine Paolini?
Well, as we all know, the mentality in tennis is everything. She had to believe in her power. She's always had the speed. I think she could be a good 100-meter runner, Jasmine, because she's explosive, she has the speed, she can cover the court very well. She had the strokes because she has a good technique. She just had to put everything together, and that happened when she met a very good Italian coach, Renzo Furlan, and he was able to convince Jasmine that she could play well on every surface, clay, of course, and also grass. And it's interesting that it's curious that Jasmine was telling us that the first time that she played on grass, she fell and she thought, okay, this is not my surface. The opposite, I mean, she can play on grass very well. She just had to find the belief that she can do that, and she found it along the way. Everybody has his time in life. Not everybody is Yannick Sinner, who is able to win a Grand Slam tournament at 22. She's 28. She put everything together, and here we are.
You mentioned the belief there, and Jasmine herself has said how much the belief has made a difference. She goes out now expecting she can beat not expecting, but believing she can beat anybody. It's not just there to take part in the game. How much as well do you think is the impact of other Italians around her? You mentioned her coach, Renzo Furlan, so from past generations and even in this generation, doubles partner alongside Sara Errani, so much experience to take from her, and then Matteo Berrettini, finalist here, Yannick Sinner, world number one. How much is Italian tennis in general, do you think, adding to her confidence and supporting her?
Well, the representation is everything. The example that Yannick set for everybody is so important. We had a breakthrough champion, Matteo Berrettini, who was the first Italian reaching the final here in the male tournament. Then we have found a generational talent who is Yannick Sinner. I mean, the example is everything. Now everybody, Lorenzo Musetti, Jasmine, everybody is trying to do their best to catch up with these champions, and these are the results. I mean, it's incredible. It's a whole new story that we are telling, and the narrative. I think it's important to stress the fact that Jasmine, she's a contemporary athlete in a world which is changing as we speak. She has an Italian father from Tuscany, a mother from Poland, whose father is from Ghana. So she has roots in Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Africa. Wow, how incredible is that? And this is a wonderful message for politics as well. I don't want to make it politics, guys, I promise. But you know, Italy is run by a left party who doesn't want things to change. And the minute you refuse things changing, you're living in the past. And Jasmine is living in the present. And these are the results.
And I think it's interesting when you speak to players past or present, their dream when they were a child was to be number one and to win a Grand Slam. But she said they were never dreams of hers when she was younger.
Well, I think Jasmine is the proof that she's not ashamed to dream big dreams. I don't know what she was dreaming when she was a kid, but she's not ashamed to dream big. she goes for it, and always with a smile. I was talking with Billie Jean King yesterday, and she says that Jasmine is the best model for the new generation, because even when she's down, even when she's losing, even when she's going through a tough time during the match, she never loses her smile. And that's, the best example that she can send, the best postcard that she can send from London to the world.
And I imagine, Gaia, finally, they are keeping you, these Italian players, very, very busy.
Very much so, but I'm happy. I'm here to write beautiful stories. And Jasmine is, with the Italian national soccer team out of Euro Cup in the early stages. Tennis has become the center of attention in Italy. And Jasmine, and then a woman, first Italian woman, she's a woman in the final. I mean, it's so important. I really hope that the message can get through and inspire a lot of Italian young women to dream big,
Gaia Picardi, thank you so much for your time. It is going to be a busy day for you, so we'll let you go, but we appreciate spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Gaia Picardi, poor old Gaia, we'd never met before, and I suddenly approach her with a big furry microphone and these headphones and start asking her questions. And I think, Russell, at first she thought, who is this woman heading towards me with a big furry microphone?
But she's been very good to us over the last couple of Grand Slams and given us a wonderful insight. And she made so many interesting points there, didn't she, about the situation in Italy politically and what a role model Jasmine Paolini is and could continue to be, whether she wins this title or not. But it's a golden opportunity for her. It's hard to really probably for her to get her head around the fact that as the 7th seed here, Laura, she is the favourite, I think. I don't think anybody feels as a clear favourite, but I mean, she's much higher seeded. She's the player with the wins under her belt in 2024, and yet had never won a match on grass at the start of the season.
But all of a sudden maybe has a bit more pressure on her today, because we are kind of seeing her as the slight favourite. I don't think it's an easy pick at all. But for Jasmine, just the fact that she's been so consistent this year, she's going to bring that into the game. And, she'll know what she wanted to do differently after Paris and what maybe she could have corrected. Even the pre-match routines, I'm sure, will be a little bit different today in the preparation to go out on court. And this is a big moment. I almost wanted to ask Gaia, what's bigger in Italy? Is it the Wimbledon final? Is it the Roland Garros final? I think for Jasmine, it is the Wimbledon final. She was saying what a dream it was to just play here in the main draw, let alone make a final. And yeah, I think all of that expectation maybe hits you at once when you walk out there. But it's kind of unbelievable to think that she is the favourite for this. I remember seeing her 8 years ago playing qualifiers in Ilkley and still with a smile on her face, losing 2-2 in the first round, and she's kept this same energy throughout her career, so to see it pay off at 28 is amazing.
We're playing Follow the Leader on 5 Live Sports at the moment. Where are you taking us next, Gigi, on this magical mystery tour?
Laura has to leave us because Laura's got a busy... That's why Laura's pointing that way. You're coming
I'm not following you.
No, you're not following me. You're
I'm
going that way.
I'm going to lose my buddy here.
Yeah, you're going to lose your buddy, and I think, Russell, you're going to come with us on your own. You're going to be buddyless. You're going to follow us? Laura, thank you very much. Enjoy the final.
You too. See you soon. I miss you already.
So Laura's off. She has a busy day and she has things to do, and I feel we're approaching, Naomi, a lot of stairs. Do you think they're going to make us go down the stairs?
I think so. It gets even busier when you go down the stairs as well. These are the stairs that the players' lawn is just above. So you sometimes see the players crossing the bridge from the locker rooms over to the player lawn. We're going to go under that bridge in a minute. And then the steps take us down to the area where you have the courts at the back of the club. So there's court 3 and then the outdoor courts and court 2 in the distance. And there's a lot going on in this area, I think.
There is. And Russell, I think Laura was right. People always look fabulous when they come to Wimbledon, but there's just a little something extra about the people who are here today. They're coming to celebrate tennis and to celebrate the women's singles final.
I think people make a greater effort for finals weekend, don't they? And we'll see a similar thing for the men tomorrow. And certainly if you look at those who are in the Royal Box today for the ladies singles final, then you have a lot of very famous and successful female faces, especially from the world of tennis, with the likes of Billie Jean King and Marion Bartley and Sue Barker in the Royal Box once the final gets underway at 2 o'clock.
Right, now this is the point where I lose Naomi and I lose Russell, because you are going to head Naomi and Russell to centre court. So that's your next port of call, and I think I'm just going to stand here by the steps. So we will be reunited a little bit later.
Wonderful. I'm going to go and get in my position. I'm very excited for this match. I think it's going to be a cracker.
I think it is going to be as well. We're going to get some predictions later. So thank you very much to Russell and Naomi. We'll keep you across everything that takes place here at SW19. And the skies do seem to be lightening up a little bit, which is good news. Now, if you were listening earlier today on 5 Live, you would have heard the commentary from Auckland as England pushed New Zealand all the way, but just came up short, losing 24-17. Means the All Blacks win the series 2-0, but plenty of positives for Steve Borthwick's side. Our correspondent Chris Jones was watching at Eden Park. He's joined by New Zealand legend Ian Jones and World Cup winner Paul Grayson.
Yes, so just like last week in Dunedin here in Auckland, England had their opportunities, especially around about the hour mark, but in the end the New Zealanders just about too strong. The All Blacks winning by 24 points to 17, but another tight, epic tussle between two teams going in the right direction. You feel. Paul Grayson and Ian Jones were both with us on 5 Live and on the Rugby Union Daily with all the latest reaction. To start with you, Ian, your reflection on the series and really a lot of the themes from the first test. England, brilliant scramble, staying in the game, great score before half-time, bossing the third quarter but not getting enough from it. New Zealand bench making the difference. Bit of a deja vu, even though we didn't know what was going to happen when we sit here looking out on an empty Eden Park. It followed a similar trend to last week.
Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure to being at both games, and we've all watched a lot of rugby. We were involved in a lot of rugby, but I don't, reflecting back, remember 2 test matches that have been a carbon copy of each other. Both teams with the same intent, both teams with the same attitude, but I think when I look back at it now, both teams believing in themselves and their game plan. They didn't change from the game plan from the first week. They knew what they had to do. And going to the Eden Park, you absolutely have to believe right throughout the 80 minutes that you're good enough to win. I think as I reflect now, moments after the game, after 70 minutes, with England just a chance of a win, didn't believe that they could. And that to me was a big changing point. Marcus Smith going off, of course, big moment. Beauden Barrett coming on, big moment. But the attitude of, are we really in a position to win at Eden Park? Can I create history here? And I think that's going to be a learning for this very young England side. But man, what a wonderful 2 weekends. What great for the game of rugby. And I keep saying it is the greatest game in the world when it's played with 2 teams with a real attitude, what we've seen.
Paul Grayson, you have a very positive outlook on life. So are you half glass empty or half glass full from an England point of view? The half glass full would go, took New Zealand right to the wire, had a rolling maul at the end that could easily have led to a try for a famous draw that wouldn't have won at Eden Park for the first time in 30 years, but would have done what only 2 teams have done in 30 years and pull off a draw? Or do you go half glass empty and go, another day, another weekend, another game in New Zealand, another big missed opportunity?
If England had played and the rugby that they were playing in the World Cup or beginning of the Six Nations and lost by these margins, I would be thoroughly depressed. But they didn't. They're playing with adventure. They're playing with a risk profile that means they're doing things positively with the ball. They're actively happy to attack, to explore the width of the field. There's been genuine progress in the way that they attack. Their shape wasn't anywhere near as good in the second test as it was in the first. But as a platform to build on, it could have been a 1-1 draw, I think, this test. I think England ran out of steam at the end of today's game, physically, and as Ian's touched on a little bit, mentally as well. But they could have won that first test. And there's so much to look back on and to go through when they review it. They won't be talking about whether we got this box kick 27 right. It'll be about how do we get better at making sure we clear the ball so we create quicker balls so Alex Mitchell can run more and Marcus Smith can attack more. It's more than half full for me, Chris, because I genuinely think that this England team, with the age profile that they've got and the experience they've now got of a World Cup cycle into a Southern Hemisphere tour to New Zealand, is just, unless you've done it, unless you've been there, it's impossible to imagine what it's like. So I think it's hugely positive for England.
I'm going to give the final word to Ian Jones in a sec, but finally to you, Grace, about how England make sure this is part of their development and they kick on come the autumn, how they get this kind of 80-minute performance. And of course you have to take into account the fatigue at the end of a long season, but does it come with experience? Does it come with depth? Both of the above?
Knowing what it's like to come off the bench with 20 minutes to go as a fly half in New Zealand. Finn Smith knows that now, and he'll look back and go, actually, why did we change the kick-off? Whose call was it? When we've made that call, why was the kick average? What can I do better before I come on to put myself in a position to keep the momentum? Or even from a coaching point of view, they might think, well, actually, unless Marcus is absolutely goosed, why don't we put him to full back when Furbank isn't around? If we're going to use Finn Smith off the bench, all those things now you can learn from actual, genuine, lived experience, and that's the most precious thing as a sports person.
And final word to Ian Jones. Thanks so much for having us in New Zealand, Ian. New Zealand up and running. 2-0, the Scott Robertson era. He can breathe a sigh of relief. He can look forward to what's coming up with a very busy calendar year for the All Blacks, but an epic couple of tests.
Wonderful for rugby, wonderful for the rugby in this part of the world. Thank you very much, England, for coming down here. What I'll say to you now is you go back and a well-deserved rest as well. Belief, trust what you're doing and trust your coaching staff for doing on the right path. The game plan they had for the last two tests, whilst didn't get the results, closer than any other team that's ever come here. So absolutely believe in what you're doing is right. Do not go away from that, because if you play hybrid, one playing one game plan, one playing another, you're not going to get these results. This is the line in the sand moment for England in this era at the moment. Players have stood up. Players cannot drop below that. It's been wonderful to see. We're looking forward to where England now go in the coming months when they get back into rugby. And I expect, as a rugby fan, to see them at this level and above. Disappointed if they drop below this.
No, England's next game is the All Blacks in November. So well, look, All Blacks got a lot of rugby to play first over their season, but from an England point of view, that'll be their next test match in November. So can they learn the lessons? They will rue a missed opportunity, no doubt, but respect has been well and truly earned as well by England down here. Final score from Eden Park, that magnificent Eden Park record stands. The fortress not raided. England losing by 24 points to 17. The All Blacks win the series 2-0.
Thank you to Chris Jones, Ian Jones and Paul Grayson. More reaction on the Rugby Union Daily podcast. Elsewhere today, Australia against Wales, and Wales have fallen to a 9th successive defeat. At full time, it was 36-28. Australia and Scotland have 42-7 winners over the USA. That was overnight in Washington. Ireland faced South Africa in the second test in Durban a little later. Now, I've lost Russell and Naomi. I've made my way down the stairs away from the media centre. I'm now standing at the main entrance to centre court, so you may have seen it on television. The way they do it this year is you can see from centre court right through the corridor and out to the back, where there's a load of fans gathered waiting to see the backs of the players as they are introduced onto centre court. Lots of people taking photos, lots of people walking past, giving me quizzical looks, but this is going to be our base until the players walk out onto centre court ahead of the 2 o'clock final. To my left, I can see court number 3. I can't see what's taking place on it, but I do know there is a Brit involved in Andy Lapthorne being watched by David Law.
Yes, and it looks as though Andy Lapthorne's attempt to get to the title here and win his 3rd quad wheelchair doubles title is going to end in disappointment, and his performance alongside Guy Sasson has been really impressive, coming back from a 5-2 deficit in the second set to reel off 4 games in a row and to within the brink of victory, but in a tie-break. Really impressive comeback from the defending champions Sam Schroeder and Niels Vink, who now are at 1-all and leading 3-love in the decider. Lapthorne and Sasson, though, celebrating a winner, and they're not done yet. Love 3 down, though, work to do.
David, thank you very much. A reminder that Barbora Krejčíková, former French Open winner, against Jasmine Paolini, who reached the final of the French this year. The players will walk out at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll have every ball here for you on 5 Live. But now to the golf, and round 1 of the Open begins next week with full commentary on 5 Live from Thursday. Rory McIlroy bounced back in impressive fashion from his US Open heartbreak, carding a 5 under par 65 on day 1 of the Scottish Open. But it was Ludvig Åberg who set the pace yesterday in the second round. Ian Carter's been speaking to the 24-year-old ahead of his first Open Championship at Royal Troon next week.
I've matured in the way that I play and the way I approach it. Experience comes with time, and these last 12 months has gave me a lot of good experiences, and it's definitely helped me grow as a player and be more aware of what's going on, I guess.
And some Swedish heritage at Royal Troon as well, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I vividly remember watching Henrik win. I've said it many times, I think it should be a national holiday in Sweden. So it was a cool day.
If you were to do it, would it become a national holiday, do you think?
Maybe if it's in the same day. That would definitely be a national holiday, I think.
There's a lot of talk about national holidays at the moment, Ian Carter, because I think people are clamouring for one if England come through against Spain tomorrow night.
Well, I must admit, I've not noticed that clamour in the parts that I've been frequenting this week, if I'm being completely honest. But any holiday will do, although I think we'll be a bit busy.
But just listening to Ludvig Åberg there, for someone who only turned professional last summer, he is making quite an impression.
It's an incredible start to his professional career. Turned professional in June, did enough in that summer, even though he wasn't eligible for the Open Championship, winning on both sides of the Atlantic and forcing his way into the European Ryder Cup team. He was a success in Rome there, had a record-breaking win when he partnered Victor Hovland against Scotty Scheffler and Brooks Koepka, and has maintained that momentum. Very nearly won the Masters in April. If he hadn't gone into the water on the 11th, who knows what would have happened there, but he was pushing Scotty Scheffler all the way. So it's been an incredible journey for him so far, and here he is now on a tournament here that's both on the European Tour and the PGA Tour, and he's in pole position at the halfway stage.
And I'm imagining that people will be expecting more of the same from him today.
Well, yes, I mean, he's opened up with 2 rounds of 64 to get to 12 under par. He's 1 ahead of Antoine Rosner, who he'll be playing with. Sungjae Im, Matteo Manacero at 10 under par, 2 shots behind. Tommy Fleetwood has actually moved into contention already today, picking up 3 shots to get to 9 under par, and that's the same mark as Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. So it's a very, very strong leaderboard, but Åberg looks very much at home at the top of it.
Ian, I mentioned at the start that Rory McIlroy's defence had started well, but how did he get on yesterday?
Well, it was a mixed bag. Again, really, similarities to the first round when he could have gone very low. He had a very disappointing short putt missed on the 16th, and given what happened at the US Open with 2 short missed putts on the way to finishing 1 shot behind Bryson DeChambeau at Pinehurst, that will have hurt him undoubtedly. But nevertheless, it was a 66 to follow a 65. He's in contention. He's at 9 under par. I got his reaction after his round. I put it to him that it was good, but that it could have been very good.
I started off very well with 3 birdies in the first 5, and then it was probably a little scrappy from there on in. But yeah, it was okay. I probably felt like I left 2 or 3 shots out there yesterday, and it was probably a similar story today. So hopefully I can put it all together over the weekend and not leave those shots out there that I've done the last couple of days.
Yeah, no birdies in the last 5 holes, but the fact that you didn't make the one on 16 will have stung, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just a misread. I read the putt straight. I even watched the ball going past the hole and didn't look like it did much, and hit it straight, and it it definitely went a little bit left to right there on me. But felt like I missed a good opportunity on the par 3 14th, another one on 17 as well. So I'm probably standing here feeling like I should be sort of around Ludvig's score, if not a little bit better after the last couple of days, but I'm still in a good position.
Potential for a really big weekend, you know, with someone as exciting as Ludwig at the top there, you as defending champion trying to hunt him down.
Yeah, it's a great leaderboard. You know, Colin's up there, Sahith's up there. It's going to, you know, Bob obviously has played pretty solid the first couple of days, so obviously a home interest to root for everyone here. It's going to, you know, it's another weekend where I'm right in the mix of a golf tournament, and that's a nice position to be in after the last, you know, 3 weeks that I've had.
Is it fair to say there, Ian, we could pick up on a little bit of frustration in Rory McIlroy?
I think so, yes. I think that's right, Gigi. And, you know, this is the first time we've seen him since that crushing disappointment at Pinehurst. He's been very philosophical in everything that he's said about that, and he's looking to bounce back. But I genuinely feel that will take an awful lot at Royal Troon next week. The good thing from his point of view, as he says, he is in contention here over the weekend, and it could be a very important weekend for him. He is the defending champion, and he'll want to play as that. But whether or not there's a hangover from Pinehurst, I think the next couple of days and what happens at Troon next week will go a long way to answering that question.
Ian, thank you. Lovely to speak to you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Gigi, and you.
Thank you very much. We are now just 25 minutes away from the players walking out from the Wimbledon Women's Singles Final. One final golf line for you in the Evian Championship. World number 21, Ayaka Furure, is leading the way following a round of 65 yesterday. And we just got lucky because a six-piece band appeared and stood next to us. And I thought they were going to break into some wonderful tunes, in which case we would have had to run at high speed. But they just had a photo. Everyone wants a photo because this is the entrance, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. It is the entrance to the clubhouse, the entrance that the members take during the year outside of these 2 weeks, and it's the photo that everyone is looking for this afternoon. So back here to Wimbledon very shortly, but there are two matches in Super League this afternoon. Hull KR are looking to stay amongst the chasing pack behind league leaders Wigan. They face struggling city rivals Hull FC this afternoon. I'm delighted to say that Matt Newsom is at the MKM Stadium for us. Good afternoon, Matt.
How you doing, Gigi? You all right?
Yeah, absolutely. The excitement building. Is it getting as excitable where you are as where we are here at Wimbledon, Matt?
I think it's probably a little bit of a one-sided sense of excitement here. It's a little bit like for Hull FC. It's a little bit like facing Novak Djokovic in tomorrow's final. Even though Alcaraz is obviously a very good player, but this is very much an imbalanced derby. I know form normally goes out the window when it comes to Derby Day, but Hull KR are the crowing cockerel in the roost at the moment in this city. Hull FC have only won 2 games this season. They're struggling at the bottom end of the table. Hull KR are the team that are looking at potential silverware. The two teams are almost very different positions. Hull are very much a team in transition, lots of young players, but they've got a good Hull core, and that might help them today. Likewise, Hull KR though, one thing about these two teams, this city loves rugby league, and their teams are packed full of local lads, so there's definitely a sense of anticipation that, you know, there's some young players who could really shine here today, although I think most of the odds would be stacked in Hull KR's favour, but you never know on Derby Day, do you, Gigi?
No, you certainly do. Matt, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time. Kick-off 3 o'clock, and you can listen to the action over on 5 Sports Extra. Back here to Wimbledon, where the crowds continue to gather, I continue to get a lot of very odd looks for people who walk past. People are just gathering by this entrance. They want the first look at the finalists who will weave their way along the corridors, the innards of centre court, and then make their way down until they are introduced out onto centre court. And we will continue the build-up to the ladies' singles final very shortly. Shall we get a little latest from court number 3? David Law keeping an eye on Andy Lapthorne.
Yes, and they continue to fight to Lapthorne and Sasson. They were 3-love down in this third and deciding set, but they have come back to 3-2, breaking back now. This is the second time in the match that they've reeled off a load of games in a row. And who knows, maybe Andy Lapthorne will still end up winning his 3rd title here today.
David, thank you very much. Now, second up on centre court, following Barbora Krejčíková against Jasmine Paolini, there's a Brit in finals action. Henry Patton is in the gentlemen's doubles final alongside Finnish partner Harry Heliövara. They'll face the Aussie duo of Max Purcell and Jordan Thompson. It's Patton, as is his partner's, first Grand Slam final, and he still can't quite believe that he's made it this far.
To be here playing in a final of, the most important tournament in British tennis is, like I said, just surreal, and we'll see how it goes.
And when did you decide in your life and career that you wanted to do this?
That probably happened quite late for me, so probably when I was about 22 and I'd finished my studies. I decided to give the Futures Tour a crack, not really expecting too much out of it, but I thought if I didn't do it then I'd never have the opportunity again. And I spoke to lots of people around me, and they said, go for it, why not? You'll never have this opportunity again, you're going to get old, you're going to get bored of working, blah, blah, blah. So, I owe a big thank you to those people that encouraged me to play and do what I love, really, because otherwise I wouldn't be here.
That was Henry Patton, who'll be walking out onto the centre court here at Wimbledon, second match on, as part of the team with Harry Heliovara contesting the gentlemen's doubles final. Now, Russell Fuller and Naomi Brody are in position on centre court. Naomi, I don't know how well or not you know Henry, but what can you tell us about him as a person?
It's interesting, isn't it? He's a lovely person. He's worked so incredibly hard, and it's just a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the fact, Russell, that this afternoon he's walking out with a chance to become not just a Grand Slam champion, but a champion at Wimbledon.
And playing with his new partner, Harry Heliovara, for only the second Grand Slam draw, but they've made a very, very fast start this year, winning doubles titles on the ATP Tour on the clay in Lyon and Marrakesh. He really did make his breakthrough in 2022. He used to play with another British player called Julian Cash, and that was the year they won a record 10 doubles titles on the Challenger Tour. Now, they've gone their separate ways as a pair, and Henry Patton, who's a left-hander, 6'6" tall, now developing what promises to be a very, very successful partnership with Heliovara, and from a British perspective, hoping to become the third British men's champion in the men's double in the Open era. Neil Skupski just last year, and Johnny Murray very famously as well in 2012 with the Dane Freddie Nielsen.
And Naomi, we talked about this earlier with Jasmine Paolini about confidence and belief, and the fact that Patton and Heliovara have been winning matches. They've been getting that confidence. They've been getting matches, puts them in a really good position when they come into a tournament like Wimbledon or they come into a Grand Slam.
Massively, and I think almost even more so in the doubles than the singles, because you want to be able to trust your partner, you want to know what they do well and where you need to maybe cover some of other areas for them. Your games fit together so nicely, big moments, which shots do you like, which shots, is your partner better off going wide? Is there anything that you can remind them of in those big moments? Henry's a brilliant player. He had a great success with another Brit, Lloyd Glasspool, or not. Was that even just last year? Was that 2 years ago? Last year they made World Tour finals at the end of the year together, so clearly loves playing with a Brit. And Henry has gained so much experience from college tennis, but what an achievement already, as I say, to have made the finals, but hopefully they can go one stage further and be another gentlemen's doubles British champion.
No, absolutely. And another British hopeful to keep your eye on is Ben Bartram. He's in semi-final action in the wheelchair doubles. Now, he's going to be second up on court 3 with his partner, Spain's Daniel Casavacci. They'll be facing the second seeds. That's the Japanese duo. They're formidable, this pair. Takayuki Miki and Tokito Oda. And the winner of that match will face the British pair, the 5-time champions, the defending champions of Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid in the final. Not forgetting that Alfie Hewitt still has that wheelchair singles final to contest this weekend. This is the one that's missing from the trophy cabinet. This is the one he wants so much, and he'll be facing Martin de la Puente in that final. Now, trying to see my watch here, in around 15 minutes' time, Jasmine Paolini and Barbora Krejčíková will take to centre court for the 2024 Wimbledon Women's Singles Final. I can tell you the excitement where I am is building. People are now stopping. They're already holding their phones up to get a photo. It's going to be at least 10 minutes before they come down those stairs. Now, Barbora Krejčíková is searching for her second Grand Slam title and looking to follow in the footsteps of her late great mentor, Jana Novotná, who experienced her own highs and lows on centre court.
And Steffi Graf kisses Jana Novotná on both cheeks, but a sad ending for a brave Jana Novotná who had this match in her grasp.
Jana, she meant so much to me. She was a huge guide. I wish she was here and she could be here with me.
And a beam of delight across Hingis' face as she leaps to the net.
I'll try to be back and win it next year.
Jana Novotná, could this be her lucky year?
She loved this place.
Novotná has the title beckoning. The forehand return is down the line. She has done it! Twice the bridesmaids. Now at last the bride of women's tennis.
I remember when I'm thinking about Jana a lot. I have so many beautiful memories, and when I step on the court here, I'm just fighting for every single ball because that's what I think she would want me to do.
We can't underestimate the power of Jana Novotná, particularly here at Wimbledon, because Krejčíková had Novotná as a coach, as a mentor. She spent a lot of time with her at the end of her life.
I mean, I'm extremely proud, and I think she would be as well. She would tell me, just go for it.
And I'm delighted to say, having just listened to Barbora Krejčíková, that we are joined by 14-time Grand Slam champion across doubles and mixed, former world number 4, Helena Suková, who won 4 of those doubles titles alongside Jana Novotná. Helena, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
And what an amazing... We always talk about Czech tennis and the production line and the great players coming through, but to have Markéta Vondrousová win it last year, Helena, and now this year to see Barbora Krejčíková in the Wimbledon final.
Yeah, for us Czechs, it's incredible because last year we didn't expect that, and as well this year it's a big surprise. But watching Barbora play from one round to another, she was improving her game, and so she deserves being in the finals.
Yeah, she certainly does, and she's had such a tough year with injury and illness. Now, Helena, Barbora Krejčíková has spoken in the past a lot about her mentor in Jana Novotná. How important is it for young players coming through that they do have these mentors, and they have these mentors from their own countries who they can speak to and who can help guide them?
It's always important, and it's always you kind of a little bit lucky if you find somebody who is from your own country and who you kind of admire, because you wouldn't listen to everybody. So it's perfect for you if you find somebody who had the experience, who can pass on the experience, and you trust them. So that there are. It's not only for the person be there, but you have to trust him as well. So it's perfect for Barbora that she had Jana.
Yeah, trust is such an important issue. And David Law, listening in, you spent a lot of time with Jana Novotná in the commentary box, and Barbora Krejčíková has spoken so emotionally about the impact she has had on her life and still has on her life.
Yeah, I think Barbora went through a period of being the best doubles player in the world, but being unable to that point to match it in singles. And to be honest with you, as somebody who covered the sport, I just assumed she wasn't that interested in singles because she was having such incredible success in doubles, and she made it very clear. I remember her entering some qualifying tournaments and saying, I really want to improve my singles, and yet because her doubles was so good, she wasn't able to often enter the singles tournaments because they weren't at the same ranking as she was used to in doubles. So she kept on working at it, and she said she basically turned up on the doorstep of Jana Novotná and just pleaded with her to help her out and to guide her and give her the benefit of her huge experience, and that's what Jana did, and they clearly had a wonderful bond, and she was able to impart her wisdom upon her, and obviously tragically, sadly, we lost Jana Novotná a few years ago, and it really affected Barbora Krejčíková. Obviously terribly upsetting for her, but at the same time she has talked about on the court there that she regards her as an inspiration. She carries the memory of her with her, and all the lessons and messages that she was given. And I personally, sometimes when I see Barbora Krejčíková play tennis, it reminds me a little bit of Jana Novotná. I remember those runs to the final, the sadness she had when she came up short, but then when she finally got over the line, I think she was one of the most popular non-British winners that there has ever been at this tournament. People connected with Jana Novotná so much, and I think that by talking about Jana in her post-match interview with Annabelle Croft the other day, I think that Barbora really had her own connection with the crowd as well. So that was really special. I just wonder from Helena what you think of Barbora as a tennis player and what her chances are today.
But you know what is interesting, what you mentioned about Jana, they have a little bit similar path from the beginning, because I remember around 1988 when we won the silver medal in the doubles at the Olympics. At that stage, Jana was not sure if she should continue playing singles, because she had very good results in doubles, but she didn't have that in singles. And so it's very similar to what you said about Krejčíková. So interesting in that way also. And I think today it will depend which one will be in a better stage, the mental stage. Because overall, if you compare the two, I think Barbora has a little bit advantage, height, her serve. But then Paolini has the advantage of a very good mover. And of course, she has improved so much on the grass court, because I think previously to this year, she hasn't won a match on grass court. And now we have her in the finals. But don't forget that she was in the finals of the French Open. So it will be a very interesting match today.
And Helena, it must make you so proud when you look at the state of Czech tennis, because just as we think we've had this great crop of players, another generation, I don't know how you do it, but another generation comes along, each as strong as the last, whether it be on the clay courts, the hard courts, the grass. It just seems there's a wonderful, I don't know if there was a wonderful structure around Czech tennis, but there's this wonderful production line of great players.
Of course, it's difficult to pinpoint what's making it, but also now we had in the semifinals, we had a Czech girl in the juniors. We have the two boys in the semifinals of the junior doubles. So we still have some juniors coming up, and we're hoping for more. So, but what's making it, we don't really know.
We need to bottle that if we one day figure out what it is. Helena, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the final this afternoon.
Okay, enjoy it, everybody, and hope to talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. It's former world number 4, 14-time Grand Slam champion across doubles and mixed doubles, Helena Suková, joining us to build up to the ladies' singles final. It is now just minutes away. But before we get the players to start the walk, to make their way into the corridor, before the nerves continue to build, let's bring you the latest news headlines here on 5 Live with Giuliano Cassidy.
The voice of the UK. And the home of the Euros and Wimbledon. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says at least 71 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a designated humanitarian area. Israel says an airstrike that hit an area close to the Gazan city of Khan Yunis was targeting a senior Hamas commander. A 34-year-old man is being held by police in London in connection with the discovery of suitcases containing human remains at the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. The police had issued an appeal for information about a Colombian national, which they say no longer applies. The BBC racing commentator John Hunt and his daughter Amy have spoken for the first time since 3 of their family were killed in an attack with a crossbow. They say their devastation can't be put into words and thank people for their kind messages of support. 61-year-old Carol Hunt and her daughters Hannah and Louise Hunt died on Tuesday. And Ukraine's president says he can forget a mistake by Joe Biden where he introduced Mr. Zelensky as President Putin. The US president made the error at a NATO press conference, which has sparked concern among Democrats about whether he should run for a second term in office.
Welcome to You'll Never Beat Kyle Walker. I'm Chris Hughes, and Kyle and I are going to kick back and talk football. Did what happened 3 years ago make you more determined to win the Euros this time? Once you're nearly there and you can basically touch it and smell it, you want to go and put things right. Do they give you energy, those younger guys? They're some of the best players in the world at the minute. The likes of Jude, Phil, Bukayo. Hopefully we can go that one step closer, and that's lifting it this time. From BBC Radio 5 Live. You'll Never Beat Kyle Walker. Listen on BBC Sounds. Wimbledon 2024 with Gigi Salmon. On 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to the Championships. It's ladies singles final day. We're still in our position by the entrance to the clubhouse, but we were at the barrier right at the front, and somehow we've been pushed to the very, very back. But we can still see, and we will still be able to see the players once they make their way down the stairs, and then the doors open, and then very shortly after that, action will begin. You'll hear every ball here on 5 Live, but if you'd like to watch the pictures and listen to our commentary, that's also something you can do via iPlayer. So many many different ways to consume the action that's coming away this afternoon. Actually, going even further back, there's a bush behind me now, so we're nearly in the bush, which means we're going to stop very shortly. Back to our centre court commentary box. I will weave my way there shortly. It's about 4 minutes, I think, until the players start their walk. We have Naomi Brodie, we have Russell Fuller, and we can say good afternoon and a happy birthday for yesterday to Annabelle Croft.
Oh, thank you, Gigi. I woke up yesterday and I'd forgotten myself, to be honest. I started getting a few messages. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a bit older. Well, it was a nice day.
It is a very special day, isn't it? Today and tomorrow. There is something we've been talking about this, Annabelle, but something a little bit different about finals weekend.
Yeah, there really is. There's a different feeling around the grounds. Even when you're walking around, there's a different buzz in the atmosphere. There's an electricity about it. I mean, even now, as I'm looking out over centre court, all eyes are trained in one direction, waiting for these players to make their way out onto the court. It's just, it's exciting. There's a special feeling about finals day.
There certainly is, and I can just see the back of Barbora Krejčíková, hands on hips, white jacket on, hair tied up in a bun on the back of her head. Behind her, Jasmine Paolini, the lower-ranked of the players, is welcomed out first. And Barbora Krejčíková is just receiving some last-minute instructions on the protocol of what happens now. And if I stand on my tiptoes, I can see the diminutive frame of the 5'4" Italian Jasmine Paolini. These are the moments, the frosted glass doors. Paolini bouncing up and down on her toes. In a very short while, those doors will fling open. The green of the court will flood in, and they'll make their way out to the applause of 15,000 fans. In front of me, we have TV cameras, we have mobile phones, we have children sitting on shoulders, we have people walking past us saying, "What are you looking at?" We are looking at the back of the finalists for 2024. They're swaying from side to side as if a breeze has moved them. They're actually swaying in unison. Barbora Krejčíková is now examining the board to her right, where the winners' names are engraved. The question is, whose name will be engraved on that board by the end of this afternoon? It's a second meeting between the two, but the last was back in 2018 in Australian Open qualifying. They are both very different people and players. Barbora Krejčíková, a Grand Slam champion at the French Open in 2021. Jasmine Paolini, a Grand Slam finalist just a short while ago at the French Open. So Jasmine Paolini continues to sway. Barbora Krejčíková will now pick up her bag. The instructions have been handed out. The bags are on their shoulders. We're now seconds away as we look through the hall into centre court. As the players are on their marks, they're waiting for their instructions, and the doors are open.
And here come our two finalists for the ladies' singles final of 2024, and it is Barbora Krejčíková who walks first onto centre court. She raises her left arm to acknowledge the ovation from the centre court crowd, and then Jasmine Paolini, who is the higher seed here, the 7th seed, the French Open runner-up, raises her right hand. They both look a little bit more relaxed now than they did a few minutes ago. We saw pictures of them outside the locker room, headphones in, both looking very tense. Jasmine Paolini, for once, not smiling. Martina Navratilova ducked out of the locker room, tried not to catch the eye of either player or the television cameras, and she has now made her way to the Royal Box, and she will be sitting to one side of the chair of the All England club, Debbie Jevons. Billie Jean King will be on the other side. Maria Sharapova is due to be in the Royal Box alongside Marion Bartley and Anne Jones and Sue Barker, plus many very high-profile and successful women from the world of entertainment. And they will be watching Barbora Krejčíková and Jasmine Paolini. Krejčíková in a second Grand Slam final, having won at Roland Garros in 2021, and Paolini, the first Italian woman to reach the Wimbledon final in the Open era. And this, remarkably, a second consecutive Grand Slam final, having not made a quarter-final before this year. It's quite a change in transformations for the 28-year-old as she tries to become a Grand Slam champion for the first time. Paolini and Krejčíková standing either side of the net. The umpire is also there, Kelly Rask, a 37-year-old from Lincoln who's officiating her first ladies singles final, having been working here for 20 years now and previously in charge of 3 doubles finals. And now we have Denise Parnell, referee at Wimbledon for the first time, coming out, and she is going to be involved in the coin toss that will take place in just a couple of minutes' time.
Same match conditions as the previous round. Net machine, the final set tiebreak is to 10 points. Shot clocks on the two corners in there. Challenge if you want to challenge, make sure it's clear and timely, especially between first and second serves. And towel box at the back. Jasmine, do you want to take the purple? Barbora, you can take the green. Any questions? Okay, so we have 10 or championships, Jasmine?
That's championships.
That's championships, and that's 10. 10, okay, so to you? It's 10. Serve? Okay, so now we're going to have pictures all facing this way.
So Jasmine Paolini has immediately elected to serve, and Barbora Krejčíková says she will stay at the end she is at the moment, which is the end opposite to the royal box. A few photographs will now be taken, and then the knock-up will begin, and in around about 5 minutes here on 5 Live, we will be underway for this ladies' singles final. And I wonder how you see this one developing, Naomi and Annabelle, because we have Jasmine Paolini. She is the 7th seed. She was in the French Open final, so you'd think she'd start favourite, but she'd not won a match at tour level on a grass court before this season. And on the other hand, you've got Barbora Krejčíková, who had won just 7 matches coming into Wimbledon all year because of illness and back problems. But she's been there and done it, Annabelle. She's won a Grand Slam title at the French Open before.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels, doesn't it, even though that Paolini is the higher-ranked player. I mean, I'm sitting here feeling like Krejčíková is the favourite. I feel like she has more options at her disposal. Yes, she's been, as you say, a Grand Slam champion before, and also she's won 2 doubles titles here at Wimbledon. You know, she won multiple doubles titles, but 2 of those were here on this centre court. So I feel like she's got a little bit more experience, and I think she's going to attack that second serve of Paolini, which was getting more and more shaky and short in the semi-finals. And I think that slice backhand can wreak quite a bit of havoc. And I just felt like Paolini was a little bit more nervous in the semi-final.
How do you see it, Naomi?
Yeah, I think head says Krejčíková, heart says Paolini. You know, it's the smile, you're drawn to her, the charisma, but Barbora, I think, is... she was just so impressive in her last match. The way that she was roaring, the come-ons, the way that she fought her way back into that against Rybakina, who was all over her in the first set. But I hope it just lives up to it, because I think it could be a really great match.
3 minutes.
There is a lot of tennis still being played around the grounds here at the All England Club, even more than you might normally expect because of the rain we've had over the past fortnight. And a reminder that you can watch every court live via the BBC iPlayer, where you'll also be able to watch the ladies' singles final and listen to the 5 Live commentary if you prefer. And one match that has been featured heavily there has just come to an end on court 3. Here's David Law.
And that featured Andy Lapthorne, the British quad wheelchair doubles player, who unfortunately for him was unable to get over the line despite nearly 3 hours of effort alongside his partner Guy Sasson. They lost to Sam Schroeder and Niels Vink, who win their 3rd title in a row.
And so, here on centre court, Barbora Krejčíková and Jasmine Paolini will contest the ladies' singles final. Krejčíková is the 5th Czech woman to reach the Wimbledon final in the Open era. Jana Novotná has been here. Petra Kvitova, twice a champion. Karolina Pliskova, a runner-up to Ash Barty in 2021. And Marketa Vondrousova, the champion from last year. Jasmine Paolini, as I mentioned, is the first Italian woman to reach the Wimbledon final in the Open era. And actually the first woman since Serena Williams to reach the Roland Garros and Wimbledon finals in the same summer 8 years ago. It all comes down to this. We thought at the start it was a wide-open draw. There have been upsets, there have been mishaps, and soon a brand new Wimbledon champion will be crowned.
For 128 players, their journey began.
Huge smile on the face of Emma Raducanu of Great Britain.
It's a backhand line winner from Bolter! Amy Osaka, she is back at Wimbledon and she is back into the second round.
For many, their Wimbledon campaign didn't go to plan.
Match point. Serves. Backhand return into the net. Swiatek is out.
The US Open champion is beaten.
Barbora Krejčíková inflicts on Elena Rybakina only a 3rd ever Wimbledon defeat.
But for 2, they remain in the final fight.
As a kid, I was watching the finals here and dreaming about to play one day, but I think was too big, you know, to dream it. It was a very difficult period, last couple of months, and I'm extremely happy and proud where I am today.
After success on the clay of Paris, can they find their way to the top on grass?
It sits up for Paolini to finish it!
And a good smash by Krejčíková, and she continues to look very secure.
Vikic goes down line, the volley cross-court is a beauty from Jasmine Paolini.
Great return from Krejčíková, who then follows it up with a drop shot. Oh, that is sublime. Big pace and depth, and the delicate touch to finish.
Jasmine Paolini and Barbora Krejčíková, who will end up in the Wimbledon spotlight.
Kelly Rask declares end of warm-up. The sun has come out over centre court once again. Ladies singles final day at Wimbledon. Will it be Barbora Krejčíková, the 31st seed? Will it be Jasmine Paolini, the 7th seed, who was 44 in the world rankings this time last year and would have had no idea of the extraordinary summer she was going to enjoy just 12 months later? She's the first to emerge from the players' chairs to the back of the court, quickening her step as she walks to the back in front of the roll box and takes 3 or 4 balls with her left hand. She is going to be serving first, and now Barbora Krejčíková emerges too. Long sleeves for the Czech player, who, like Paolini, is 28 years of age. Krejčíková just asking for a moment for the crowd to settle down behind her, and Jasmine Paolini has to break off her service action. I think it's a couple of members of the ground staff or security staff or camera crew that are just disappearing from sight. Krejčíková actually turning her back to compose her thoughts and wait for the disturbance to disappear, and we're ready to go. Paolini misses the first serve of the final here at Wimbledon. Second serve from Paolini to the backhand of Krejčíková. Paolini's forehand, Krejčíková with the backhand down the centre. Paolini hits the backhand. It's a careful rally with both players driving the ball down the centre. A little bit too much air on the backhand from Paolini. She makes the first error of the final, and it's first blood to Barbora Krejčíková.
Yeah, you always want to get settled at the start of such a huge match like this, and you just want to be able to get your rhythm going, start to feel like you can shake off all that adrenaline and nerves that's just coursing through your body.
Love 15 down, Paolini, as that slice forehand return is struck by Krejčíková. Forehand, Paolini cross-court. Krejčíková cross-court with a forehand. Paolini now down the line. Krejčíková slicing her backhand. Backhand cross-court from Krejčíková, and that's the first error from the Czech player. And Jasmine Paolini is on the board.
15.
I feel like, you know, even her facial expressions are quite taut. And as you'd mentioned, Russell, she sort of wasn't really smiling the way we've got used to seeing her smiling when she walked on the court. And I feel like she's definitely the more nervous of the two.
15 all. Paolini serves. Backhand return from Krejčíková. Paolini with the backhand. Krejčíková swings the forehand inside the baseline, and there's quite a wild forehand from Paolini, who decides it's time to adjust her hair.
Yeah, she's
Naomi
redoing it.
Yeah, she went for the ponytail, didn't she? She's changed her mind already. She'd rather have a bun, I think. Get it out the way.
Jasmine Paolini won her first 3 rounds without dropping a set, and then in the 4th round looked in all sorts of trouble and heading out of the championships as she misses her first serve. She was 5-2 in a double breakdown to Madison Keys. And at that point, Keys injured her left hamstring, and having lost 3 games in a row was unable to continue, and Paolini was into the quarterfinals. She's 15-30 down in her opening service game of the final. She's coming forward, but it's a very good return by Krejčíková, and the backhand volley from Paolini is long, and these are 2 break points to Barbora Krejčíková in the opening game of the 2024 final.
And I hope her coach has just shared with her. I mean, she'll have experience herself, Paolini, from that French Open final as well, but to just not press the panic button too early here if you do come out with some early nerves.
Paolini, 2 break points down, puts a first serve into the net. Second serve, forehand return from Krejčíková. Paolini's backhand. Krejčíková with the backhand to the Paolini backhand. Krejčíková cross-court with the forehand. Paolini cross-court too. Krejčíková looking so calm. And what a lovely blow. That forehand cross-court winner secures a break in the very first game of the final. And she will be feeling fantastic about the first game she has played here on centre court this afternoon.
She will be. It's a relief when you get on the board, I think, in a big match, just to finally get that one game. But to get off with an early break, she's already got herself a cushion, and she's certainly, I think, the more experienced of the two. She's already got the Grand Slam in her pocket, hasn't she? She's not got that feeling of wanting it so much. Is she ever going to get another opportunity to become a Grand Slam champion? She already is one in singles, 7-time Grand Slam champion in doubles as well. Krejčíková.
Jasmine Paolini's French Open final story against Iga Swiatek. It started well. She broke first, but then lost 10 games in a row and was beaten 6-2, 6-1. She said it was the most challenging match of her career. She will hope that she'll feel a little bit more relaxed in a second back-to-back Grand Slam final. But a good serve from Krejčíková and a long return from Paolini means that the Czech player hits the front again.
And that's a huge serve she's just put down there, isn't it? With accuracy, pace, power. And she just looks so unbelievably relaxed. You know, there's no tension running through her arm. She's releasing on things. Another big serve.
And the forehand wide from Paolini.
There are some very dark clouds overhead, but the sun is currently shining down on centre court. They'll be pleased about that.
So they would really desperately try and make sure this was an outdoor final. I think only if they were pretty certain there was going to be rain in the next couple of hours would they close the roof. Forehand cross-court from Krejčíková, completely in control at the moment as she moves to 40 love on serve.
Forehand cross-court is just causing so much
devastating.
Damage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the things we've talked about a lot with her game. That forehand is just absolutely brutal. And it's so well produced, and, you know, there's no flaws in it. She just, you know, has a lot of good technique on it, but also control, but power.
3 game points for a 2-love lead after just 5 minutes on centre court. Forehand long from Paolini and more excellent serving from Krejčíková, who holds to love.
Krejčíková is seriously pumped up as well. We saw it again in her semi-final against Rybakina, and it's what I actually think got her back into that match was her energy levels, just dragging herself, the come-ons, the fist pumps. A woman on a mission.
You can hear the crowd just trying to get Paolini going. I think that she's going to have the crowd behind her, I think.
Very much encouragement for Paolini as she begins this service game, trying to get on the board in the Wimbledon final. Slice backhand from Krejčíková. A very mid-court ball from Paolini, who now goes with greater depth and accuracy and is running forward to hit the volley. The lob from Krejčíková. The backhand volley down the line from Paolini. Paolini now down the line with a forehand, but Krejčíková is there again and slices the backhand onto the baseline. Forehand Krejčíková. She's now got Paolini on the defence. Krejčíková inside the baseline. Whips the forehand cross-court. What a glorious start she's making to this final.
Love 15.
It's the shot, isn't it? The forehand cross. Paolini has to somehow already, just after 2 games, find an answer to it, to take it away from Krejčíková. She's cutting through the sidelines before it reaches the baseline, just comes right round the outside edge of the ball, slides it away on the grass.
She loads up with the legs, doesn't she? She kind of plants the feet and then really loads up with them.
Wide again on the forehand from Paolini, but again it was about the weight of the return from Krejčíková, who's threatening to open up a substantial advantage in this opening set.
This is going a little bit quickly at the moment. I think somehow Paolini needs to try and slow the pace of this match down.
A 2-hour, 51-minute semi-final she won against Donna Vekic in a 3rd set tiebreak. That was the longest in ladies' singles semi-final history at Wimbledon. That cheer will tell you that Paolini has won a point as Krejčíková hits a backhand service returning to the net. Barbora Krejčíková also had a fairly stressful Thursday afternoon, beating Elena Rybakina after losing the first set. Backhand return from the Czech, reaching for a backhand but not making contact. Nice change of direction from Paolini, hitting in behind Krejčíková. And now back in this game. Love 2 down in the final. Barbora Krejčíková could have lost in the first round. She played Veronika Kudermetova and won in 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Wow.
7-6, 6-7, 7-5. Not the most gentle introduction to a Wimbledon Championships. And then a couple of tie breaks against Katie Volinets to win her second round match, and things have got a bit more straightforward for her since then. Second serve from Paolini at 30 all. Backhand reply from the Italian. Krejčíkova's forehand, with a bit of air, takes the pace off that one. Paolini's forehand cross-court. Now she's got Krejčíková on the run. The crowd thought that was going to be a winner. They went a little bit early, but the lob, very much a defensive one from Krejčíková, eventually comes down and buries itself, the ball, in the bottom of the net.
Yeah, it's the second time the crowd have cheered too early in this game for Paolini. They're so desperate for her to get back into this match. To settle themselves down a bit, never mind the players.
Exciting day. As Paolini, who has loved 30 down, now serves at 40-30. Her forehand to the backhand slice of Krejčíková. Krejčíková sliced it onto the baseline. Backhand cross-court from Krejčíková. Paolini cross-court with the backhand. Backhand down the line from Paolini. Long.
Looking up to her box for confirmation, Paolini, it was down that end that she missed long. Then up to the chair umpire. It must have felt good coming off the racket. No challenge.
Well, at least she was kind of releasing on it, wasn't she? It looked a little bit kind of cleaner strike, like she was really going for that shot. I think she expected herself to make it. We've got a little, is it a blue tit that's just flapping its tail on the centre court? Got a ball kid that's going to kind of shoo it away.
Good ball girling there, just by running from one side of the net to the other.
It was a very sweet little bird.
Not intimidating the bird at all, but just doing enough for the bird to realise that perhaps it was better off somewhere else. Paolini's gone long with the backhand, and this now a break point for a 3-love lead for Barbora Krejčíková.
I'm sure the bird would rather it was the ball girl than Rufus the hawk chasing them out of the centre court.
A constant threat here at Wimbledon. No one messes with Rufus. Break point for a 3-love lead. It's the blocked forehand return by Krejčíková, who's hitting a forehand down the line. Paolini's drop shot. First time we've seen that. And what a time to pull it out of the locker. She saves a break point.
Wow, that was absolutely perfect. So much control and disguise on it. I mean, it was just beautiful. She set up for it as if she was going to hit a backhand and then cut underneath it, put plenty of height on it, but when it hit the court, it just died. Well, coaching camp very pleased with that one.
Slice forehand return by Krejčíková. Paolini onto the baseline with the forehand. You hear what the crowd made of that? And it's a nice, easy put away for Paolini, coming forward, just very carefully, almost tapping that forehand cross-court volley away.
Advantage.
And again, a chance to get our first game of this final here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
It's hilarious how much the crowd are into this so early on in the match. A gasp as Paolini's forehand just tickles the back of the baseline. I think they thought it was going out and no call came.
Advantage Paolini. Another of those chipped forehand returns by Krejčíková, who's now heading the forehand to the backhand of Paolini. Backhand Krejčíková onto the baseline. Well dealt with by Paolini, who's now on the defensive and has gone long with a forehand.
I think that type of point right there is exactly illustrating when the height and size of Paolini, you know, she's only, what does she say? We're not sure, 5'3", 5'4". You know, she just doesn't have that kind of leg width that she can cover the court as quickly, and the strides, exactly. And when that cross-court forehand gets into play, it just gets out of her reach.
6 inches or 15 centimetres shorter than Barbora Krejčíková. Forehand cross-court long from Paolini. Break point number 2 in this game for Krejčíková, who's already a break to the good, remember.
Billie Jean King is in the box shaking her head.
How could you miss that?
Precious privilege.
Blocked forehand return by Krejčíková on the break point. Forehand down the line from Krejčíková with great power. Terrific defence from Paolini, but she's in trouble here. She's on the defence. She's on the back foot, but she's still in this rally. Forehand from Krejčíková is just over the baseline. Spirited defence from the Italian helps her avoid going a double breakdown. 12 minutes played. Billie Jean King, Marion Bartoli, Anne Jones, Martina Navratilova and Maria Sharapova, 20 years on from winning the title, are the
Wimbledon champions in the royal box today. The forehand from Krejčíková down the line. Paolini with a forehand cross-court. Krejčíková with a forehand cross-court. More power on that cross-court from Paolini, but Krejčíková looks like she has so much time. Backhand from Paolini. Krejčíková cross-court with a forehand. Paolini down the line. Krejčíková cross-court and wide.
Constant pressure from Paolini. She's obviously decided she's not afraid to come up to that. Both of these, actually, we're talking about Krejčíková and her experience in the doubles. What a Grand Slam champion she is. Paolini is a very, very good doubles player herself as well. One of the best in the world, currently playing alongside Sara Errani consistently. Clearly taking it to Krejčíková today, approaching the net often, and it just takes that central defensive shot away. Krejčíková having to go for so much in defensive, awkward positions on the court.
Paolini with the advantage. Excellent serve, and the return is wide from Krejčíková. So Jasmine Paolini, much to the delight of the centre court crowd, is on the board, saving the 2 break points and just the 1 break of serve down after 13 minutes, with Krejčíková leading by 2 games to 1. Others in the royal box today include Kate Beckinsale, Darcy Bussell, Ellie Goulding, Hugh Jackman, Sam Mendes, and Annabelle, a very close friend of yours.
Yes, Johannes Radebe. And I can just see him, actually. I'm just like leaning forward and I can just see him, so he's not too far away, and he was beyond excited about coming to the royal box.
You carried him through Strictly, didn't you?
No, I definitely didn't, but he definitely carried me. But yeah, we keep in touch a lot, and I am so excited that he's here into my domain, you know, coming to watch the tennis. In fact, when we first met, it was here at Wimbledon, and he had to play and do a serve with his back to me, and I had to try and guess who my partner was, and that was out on court 4, I think it was, court 4 or court 5, and then we sat in centre court when it was empty, and we did an interview together, and I was sort of explaining about centre court and the atmosphere. And it's so wonderful that he's now back here to see it in its full capacity and to have the energy of what goes on here.
And in the royal box.
And in the royal box. I'm so excited for him.
Oh, what a special day.
Yeah, he was really excited.
The benefits of partnering Annabelle Croft in Strictly. I'm not sure he would have been sitting there if he'd had someone else as a partner last year.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he would.
If you follow at 5Live Sport on X or Instagram, we've just posted the link you need to have our commentary alongside the BBC TV pictures. We'll be offering the same for you tomorrow in the men's final, and also for the Euros final between England and Spain via the iPlayer. Exciting weekend in prospect here on 5Live, and it continues here with this ladies' singles final. That's Jasmine Paolini going long with a service return. Barbora Krejčíková leads by 2 games to 1 and 15 love.
Do you know who I think I've just spotted as well, who isn't in the royal box? The actress from The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, I like
the chess
yes,
drama. I do know exactly what you mean. I very much enjoyed it. I can't remember her name either. Forehand from Paolini. The forehand cross-court from Krejčíková is a winner.
Anna Taylor-Joy is her name, so I'm desperately trying to find her on social media to see if it is, but I think it is.
We're all staring now. It's rude to stare. 30 love, Krejčíková. 2-1. What an assured start she's made to her first Wimbledon singles final. Backhand return from Paolini. Paolini pushes the forehand down the line, right to the back of the court. She's now underneath the smash, and Paolini has won the point, although Krejčíková's backhand pass down the line only missed by a couple of feet.
50.
One meeting before, but in Australian Open qualifying in 2018, Krejčíková winning the match comfortably. Surprising that they've not met on tour since, but then again, Paolini has emerged in the rankings over the past 6 months or so, and Krejčíková, up until she won the French Open title in 2021, was very much a doubles player and twice a Wimbledon doubles champion, with Katerina Siniakova, her now former partner, who will be in the women's doubles final alongside Taylor Townsend this evening on centre court. Paolini long with the return, so this could be a fairly straightforward hold for Krejčíková. It's an amazing story, really, when she won at Roland Garros in 2021, because it's only the 5th Grand Slam singles main draw of her career. And yet she was able to beat Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in 3 sets. Serving now.
Sounded like a champagne cork popping, didn't it?
Very Wimbledon.
Well, I hope it didn't hit someone on the head, the cork. It sounded quite a pop.
It was either that or somebody bursting a bag of crisps, but I think it was much more likely to be the former. Mind you, crisps and champagne mix quite nicely, don't they?
Oh, what a combination.
Preferably salt and vinegar.
Oh, yeah, Russell. Talking my language.
40-15, 2-1. Backhand return from Paolini. Krejčíkova's forehand down the line. Paolini with a backhand cross-court. Paolini now with the forehand. Krejčíková put some air on this forehand, and the backhand is a good one from Paolini, who's now having to take a couple of steps back and hitting the backhand from behind the baseline. She's on the defence once again, as she has been for much of this match. Backhand down the line. Paolini, fabulous winner. Straight back at you, girl.
What a shot that was. Completely caught Krejčíková by surprise. So I don't think so. He's the fastest player on tour, but has brilliant anticipation. Guessed the wrong way that time, though. She was scurrying on over into a backhand corner, expecting the backhand to go cross-court, understandably so. Paolini in a defensive position there, but great hand skills, taking it down the line for the winner.
Just 1 game point remaining for Krejčíková at 40-30. Forehand return from Paolini. Krejčíkova's backhand cross-court. Paolini pushes the backhand into the middle of the court. Forehand cross-court from Paolini, and Krejčíková nets.
She feels she's settled now, don't you?
Definitely.
She's found her feet, and how quick has that been? What was it, a game or two? She was nervous, even just the first game,
Absolutely.
the break.
No, she looks way freer. She looks like she's tactically engaged in the battle now, and you can see there's more exchanges between them, and it's much tougher for Krejčíková to sort of start to win the points now. Yeah, this is high-quality tennis.
Krejčíková won 8 of the first 9 points of the final, but nip and tuck since then. Forehand return from Paolini. Krejčíková with a forehand. Paolini slices her backhand cross-court. That's cleverly done. The drop shot from Krejčíková, reached by Paolini. This is a brilliant lob. Krejčíková now with the lob. Paolini's running back, watching it closely. Lets it bounce. Can she put the smash away? The backhand is hit by Krejčíková. Paolini with a forehand cross-court. Krejčíková cross-court with a forehand. Paolini cross-court with a forehand. Down the line goes Krejčíková. Now Paolini on the defence. Krejčíková inside the baseline, hits the forehand cross-court.
Oh my goodness.
What a rally!
Oh, that was unbelievable.
Krejčíková saying, give me some love here, guys. What have I done wrong? The crowd were cheering mid-point there twice. Unbelievable pick-up from Paolini on the drop shot. What a brilliant drop shot it was, and she got it back with the lob. Great hustle from Krejčíková. That's the sort of tennis I was hoping we would get to see in this final. 2 incredibly talented players, great hand skills, variation.
At advantage, Barbora Krejčíková of a 3-1 lead. And she's now having to play points that good to stay in front and hang on to a serve, which she has done now as Paolini blocks the backhand over the baseline. So all that effort in that particular game came to nothing. And Krejčíková maintains her advantage. 3-1 with the break.
Wow, I mean, take a breather out here. It's absolutely absorbing tennis, isn't it? Seeing so many sort of wonderful exchanges between the two of them. And when you compare it to last year, where there was so many nerves and sort of pressure, and poor Onjabeur just literally could not find her best game. A lot of unforced errors, but this is absolutely like jaw-dropping.
1-3 down, Paolini. Heavy hitting with the forehand return. Helps earn Krejčíková the first point against the Paolini serve. Markéta Vondrousová last year became Wimbledon's first unseeded ladies champion. And Barbora Krejčíková can't emulate her here, but she wasn't far off not being seeded. She slotted in as the 31st of 32 seeds. Backhand return from Paolini. Forehand Krejčíková. Paolini's backhand down the line, just wide, and love 30 down.
I suppose this is the biggest argument, isn't it, for women also playing best of 5, even if it's just in the second week, sort of quarterfinals on in the Grand Slams, because when you do get off to a bit of a tricky start, as Paolini did there, you feel the longer this match went on, the more she'd have time to calm down and get on into it.
Love 30, good serve, and the backhand long by Krejčíková.
15-13. The best of 3, you feel what her aim has to be, just to try and slow things down a little bit.
Crucial service hold, you would think. This one for Paolini. It's a good serve, but a decent backhand return from Krejčíková, whose forehand cross-court is wide.
Well, that's a rarity, actually. She hasn't put in too many unforced errors.
30.
Especially off that forehand wing, which has been so effective today. And the thing about her forehand is it's so powerful, but it has wonderful shape on it. And she gives it quite a bit of height over the net, but a lot of rotation to control the ball. And once it bounces on that court, it just completely carries on travelling away from Paolini.
30 all. Paolini's first serve into the net, second serve onto the backhand of Krejčíková. Paolini's forehand, Krejčíková with the backhand. Paolini's forehand is long.
Jasmine
She's going to challenge,
challenging the call,
but
on
I
the
think
left
she's going to find
baseline.
herself another break point down
Ball
here.
was called out.
Krejčíková already over into the ad corner. Paolini shadow swinging furiously on her forehand side. A bit of a conversation going on with her box. Oof, it was much closer than I was expecting it to be. Centimetre long, maybe?
40. Jasmine
Not
Paolini
far.
has 2 challenges remaining.
It did not go Jasmine Paolini's way, though, and so a break point for a 4-1 lead. Slice forehand return from Krejčíková, pushes Paolini back, and again, great depth here from Krejčíková. Paolini with the forehand, Krejčíkova's backhand. Paolini nets on the backhand, and it's a double break advantage now for the French Open champion of 2021, who's bidding to become the first Czech
Krejčíková
woman
leads
in the
by
Open era
4 games
to
to
win
1.
singles titles at different Grand Slams. So really, she would be considered one of the all-time Czech greats if she's able to win the title here this afternoon, Gigi.
Yeah, potentially a long way to go. It's 2:33 in the afternoon with 5 live sports. There's so much to keep an eye on. From 3 o'clock, you'll have Rugby League over on Sports Extra. We continue to build up to the final tomorrow night, where you'll hear every ball of England against Spain in the Euro 2024 final. Before that, during the day, we've got Novak Djokovic against Carlos Alcaraz from Wimbledon. We've got a break in the men's doubles final following this. So plenty of action to keep across and keep an eye on. And Annabelle, we were speaking to an Italian journalist earlier, Gaia Picardi, and she said, what is so great? And she said, yes, I know Italy fell early in the Euros, but on the front of every paper, you have Jasmine Paolini. There is a wave of excitement about this young lady, and she's on the cover of all the newspapers.
It doesn't surprise me because she's so photogenic, isn't she? And she's such a big personality. We've all fallen in love with her. I mean, you can tell by the crowd that every time she wins one of those long exchanges out here, she's got the crowd behind her. And she just has such a wonderful kind of energy about her on the court, this beautiful smile. The smile is never too far away. Even when I've watched her this week, when she's even losing points, she's still kind of smiling. You know, she's got this airy feel about her. She's very engaging. And, you know, I'm not surprised that you know, she's going to become a really big star in Italy, isn't she?
Can she win the title, or will it be back-to-back Grand Slam final defeats? To reach back-to-back Grand Slam finals, of course, is a magnificent achievement, but she is chasing the match at the moment, and that is a shout of celebration from Barbora Krejčíková, who wins the first point on serve by coming forward and hitting an angled forehand cross-court volley winner. She was as high as number 2 in the world in 2022, not long after her French Open triumph. 19 weeks as the women's doubles world number 1, Krejčíková. Forehand, down the line and wide from Paolini.
30 love.
And always credits her versatility to the first coach she had, I think it was, who she says was not a super coach. The balls were flying everywhere. I was running from side to side, and that actually, she thinks, helped her deal with pretty much everything that players would throw at her in future. Forehand down the line from Krejčíková. She's inside the baseline, and she has missed that backhand.
Has she? She actually roared there.
You're
She
right.
celebrated.
It was a roar from Krejčíková rather
Yes.
than a call from the umpire.
It sounded a bit like a call of out, but she celebrated, and she took her time with that backhand because it was over the high part of the net. She was very disciplined with the racket face, and what a winner that was.
4-1, 40 love. Long with the first serve. She's not faced a break point on serve yet. Was taken to deuce in her last service game, just as Paolini was threatening to get back on level terms, but suddenly the scoreboard has a very different complexion to it as she serves to the backhand of Paolini. Krejčíkova's backhand is wide down the line, missing by quite a big margin. And there's no shriek in either celebration or rage there from Krejčíková. Nice, comfortable position, though, for Krejčíková at the moment, if you can ever feel comfortable in a Wimbledon singles final. 4-1, 40-15, just 28 minutes played here on BBC Sounds. The forehand cross-court from Paolini, down the line with a forehand from Krejčíková, which will be challenged by Paolini, who looks generally unsure whether this was in or not.
The way Krejčíkova's been going, you can imagine this is going to just catch the line, although she's getting the balls at the back of the court.
Another winner.
Game, Krejčíková.
Often the way it goes, isn't it? I'll have a look falling to Krejčíková right now.
Leads by 5-1 first set. Jasmine Paolini has one challenge remaining.
Jasmine Paolini getting regular encouragement before her service games. The centre court crowd know the Italian needs them right now, and she's responded with an ace down the tee.
You can use that crowd. It's going to be absolutely massive for her. They'll both feel that they're firmly behind Paolini. Tough to not take it personally from Krejčíkova's perspective at times,
yes,
isn't it?
I agree. Because she'll be very aware that that crowd is very much kind of like wanting the underdog and the person who's trailing in the scoreline, but also there's a feeling that they're really behind her.
Forehand return from Krejčíková, backhand slice from Paolini. Krejčíkova's backhand just inside the baseline, and the smash now from the Czech player.
15.
But it's not exactly a hostile environment, is it?
Oh no, I think it has to be the most polite crowd of all the slams.
Forehand cross-court from Paolini with real wit. The lob from Krejčíková, well judged. The bounce smash from Paolini, who remember is just 5'4" tall, helps her win the point as Krejčíková hits a rather insipid backhand into the net.
I would actually say on those bounce smashes from the baseline, it helps to only be 5'4", especially on the grass, because when the ball doesn't bounce up that high, for Paolini, it's still a sort of an overhead height.
Regulation height.
Yeah, if you're very tall.
If you're a Naomi Brody, here's the lob from Krejčíková. It's one of those awkward high backhand volleys, and it's put into the net by Paolini.
30.
Well, interesting to see her coming forward there, Russell. She's starting to try and change things up because she realises that it's not really happening from the baseline to get through. You know, this sort of security that's coming out of Krejčíkova's racket. She's hitting everything so beautifully. She's hitting winners left, right and centre. She's using a lot of slices. So Paolini just trying to come forward and volley a little bit more, trying to change up the rhythm of this match.
30 all on the Paolini serve, and she trails 1-5. Second serve, Krejčíkova's forehand into the tape as she tries to go down the line, but rushes it off very quickly and walks briskly to the other side of the net. It means she's not too far in front of us, no more than about 15 metres away from us, with this fabulous commentary position, which is just to the left of the royal box.
You do wonder whether she might just suddenly get a few jitters at some point, Krejčíková, with such a big occasion. You know, she has been prone to that in the past with a few nerves.
Backhand return from Krejčíková. Paolini's backhand rather spooned up into mid-court, and Krejčíková has surprisingly missed that forehand. But that shouldn't be a crisis for her because she does still have the double break advantage and leads by 5 games to 2. And yes, I suppose the closer you get to the finishing line, perhaps the more you think about what this means to you. She's a French Open champion, but this was the Grand Slam, and a lot of players do say this, and it's not just a British bias, that Wimbledon was the one that was always so special to them growing up. And of course, she wasn't able to play here in the singles until 2021. She wasn't ranked high enough. Yeah. She failed to get through qualifying 3 times. So suddenly to be in this position after a year which has been pretty much ruined since the Australian Open by a back injury and by illness, it's an extraordinary position to be in.
It is extraordinary, and I think she's kind of surprised herself, hasn't she? Because, you know, I think she did quite well in the Australian Open, obviously, but then there's only been 2 completed matches since then. And she can't have had, too many high expectations coming into Wimbledon, other than she does believe in herself. And I do remember after she won the French, didn't she put out quite a bit into the press that she was a little bit miffed that people weren't talking about her in contention for more slams amongst all of the other big names around at the time? And I think she felt like, well, why am I not being respected enough? I think she does have a lot of self-belief.
And she could be a 2-time Grand Slam singles champion, as well as all those doubles titles in the space of the next hour. She's certainly in control at the moment, but it is only the first set, which Krejčíková leads by 5 games to 2. And here is her chance as Jasmine Paolini returns to the baseline to hold serve and establish a 1-set-to-love lead. She's serving from the far end with new balls. Backhand return from Paolini to the net.
15 love.
Paolini having a little word with herself. Needs a very swift response, or she's going to have to come from behind to win this final. Krejčíková to the backhand of Paolini. It's another very, very good serve, and the forehand from the midcourt, whipped down the line. Aggressively, decisively, she's 2 points away from winning the opening set.
Incredible accuracy, really hitting her spots and mixing them up on the serve as well, not giving Paolini any sort of inclination or ability to guess or read which way she's going on these serves.
Well, I feel like she's putting together the perfect tennis match at the moment. That's how it feels. Everything looks very clean, doesn't it? And
other than the first game of the nerves of Paolini, since then it's just been the level of Krejčíková, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
2 points away, 5-2, 30 love. Krejčíková serving down the tee, backhand return from Paolini. Krejčíkova's forehand, and Paolini goes with a big forehand and misses. And this is running away from her very quickly, this first set now. 3 set points for Barbora Krejčíková. 5-2, 40 love. It's been a commanding performance so far by the Czech player. The 28-year-old, first set point, not quite happy with the toss of that ball, but serves now. Backhand return from Paolini, inside the baseline, forehand hit back to the backhand of Paolini by Krejčíková. Now she goes cross-court, and Paolini nets.
And first set, Krejčíková by 6 games to 2.
What an impressive performance. What an assured performance by Barbora Krejčíková. 6-2, she wins the first set, and she's halfway to a second Grand Slam singles title.
What a set of tennis. When you think she only won 2 singles matches between February and June of this year because of injury and illness. So a fight back needed for Jasmine Paolini, who makes her way off the court, being watched by Tom Cruise, who is among the celebrity faces who is here today. So the second set and possibly a third to come are this women's Wimbledon singles final. But now the time at 2:45. Here are your news headlines on 5 Live with Giuliano Cassidy.
The voice of the UK. And the home of the Euros and Wimbledon. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Officials in Gaza say at least 71 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a designated humanitarian area. Israel says it was targeting a senior Hamas leader, Mohammed Deif. A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder following the discovery of human remains in suitcases at Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. The 34-year-old was detained by armed officers at Temple Mead Station in Bristol early this morning. Strictly Come Dancing professional Graziano Di Prima has confirmed he's leaving the show. In a statement, he says he deeply regrets the events leading up to his departure and acknowledged what he calls his intense passion and determination to win might have affected his training regime. The BBC says it has a robust duty of care procedure, and if issues are raised, they will always be taken seriously. And Kensington Palace says the Princess of Wales will attend the Wimbledon men's final tomorrow. It'll be her second public appearance after being diagnosed with cancer.
When the In-Betweeners came out, people were being so nasty about my weight.
What is it really like to be famous?
But then I thought, I didn't know my weight was ever going to be discussed, ever.
In my new podcast, I'll hear about the highs and lows of fame from guests like Emily Atack, Lee Francis and Daisy May Cooper.
Students that were in my year were saying about what their favourite Shakespeare plays were. And I just thought, I've got no idea what I'm doing here.
How to be in the spotlight with me, Ryland.
The job is so fun, isn't it?
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Wimbledon 2024 with Gigi Salmon on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to the Championships. Currently, a lot of people taking photos of the actress who appeared in the Queen's Gambit. Was it Anna Taylor-Joy?
Yes.
They're taking pictures of her because she's now being...
She's being very gracious as well. She doesn't seem to mind.
No,
she's actually taking
photos of other people.
That's so funny. It's like when somebody says, do you mind taking a picture? And you're like, yeah, and you get in it and they're like, no, of us.
But then someone's going to say, do you know who just took your photo? We are waiting for Jasmine Paolini to return to the court. Away from Wimbledon, some other sports lines for you. And England lost 24-17 to New Zealand this morning in a closely fought match at Eden Park. England led 14-13 at half-time, but have now lost their series against the All Blacks 2-0. Australia beat Wales by 36 points to 28 in Melbourne. Warren Gatland's side have now lost 9 test matches in a row. Aston Villa are in advanced talks to sign Everton midfielder Amadou Onana. The fee would be in the region of £50 million. And Britain's Tom Pidcock is out of the Tour de France after testing positive for COVID. The riders are currently on stage 14. Tadej Pogacar has the overall lead. And there's a round of applause. The first thing to say is very positive body language from Jasmine Paolini as she sprinted back to her chair, gathered her racket to get in position. And Naomi Brodie, what do we need to see from Paolini in this second set that you haven't seen so far?
It's tough because she has to try and neutralise. It's more about, I think, what Krejčíková was able to do in that first set, just produce such an incredibly high level of tennis. An early hold will help her massively, though, in this second set. She gave Krejčíková the early cushion, and it was a battle right from the get-go in the first.
That's a good first serve. Flicks off the frame of Krejčíková, goes high up into the crowd, and a gentleman catches it. I think he's trying to snaffle away that ball, but he will be asked to give it back.
I was about to say, I don't think you get to keep them here.
No, you don't. Look, he's putting his coat over it. Look at
we
that.
all saw
We've seen you. Forehand, inside out from Paolini. Paolini, the double-handed backhand to the double-handed backhand. Centre of the court from Krejčíková. Through the middle of the court they go. Into the corner of the forehand goes Krejčíková. Hits the backhand cross court and then netted off the backhand from Paolini. Oh, look, a gentleman from the army is going into... Oh, look, you see, not a chance. Are you keeping that ball? It's a 15-all, first game, second set of the Wimbledon women's singles final here on 5 Live Sports. Served down the tee, cut back into the net. And Annabelle, we are so used to this positive body language from Paolini. And once again, from the way she sprinted back onto the court, the little fist pump up to her box.
Yeah, she's just so energised. I mean, I can't stop watching her footwork and her feet because it's like they've got 2 little rockets underneath the shoes. And, you know, she really is just jumping around, bouncing. You know, she just has boundless energy. And I think that's what the crowd are really taken with, how much she fights and scraps to get balls back into play. Seemingly impossible balls, which she kind of almost is horizontal, hurling herself across the court to get to these balls.
Yeah, her defence and her determination cannot be in question.
She was just stopped mid-rally here.
Rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely right to do so. Ball was out.
Those dark clouds that you saw have gone, I would say.
They've been replaced by lighter grey clouds. I thought I was going to look up and see blue sky then, Gigi.
Well, sort of. Paolini serves out wide, cut back, that's a low ball, it draws Paolini in, who's at the net, and she is not passed by Krejčíková, who misses the court altogether. And Naomi, as you said, it's so important for Paolini to start positively and to get the hold.
Yeah, just to shift the momentum a little bit. She was definitely finding her feet midway through the first set, other than, as we say, the very first nervy service game. Very understandable, her first Wimbledon final. After that, it was just Krejčíková that was too good.
Oh, and how about that for a reaction? It's like she'd won the set. Lots of tiny little little steps as she went back to her chair. The roar and the fist pump, Annabelle, up towards her box is a yes. OK, I got a foothold in this second set.
Well, I think she's very much like that. You know, the energy also comes out like with those roars that she gives, and they're very natural roars, actually. There's nothing sort of annoying or irritating about them. She's just very, very natural. And I think it's also messaging down for Krejčíková. When you do that, you're showing your opponent that you're fighting, you're raring to go, you're not giving up on this match. You really feel you still have a chance. And it was important for her to get off to a good start in this second set.
It really was. Barbora Krejčíková, 28 years of age, had horrible injury. She had a really great start at the beginning of the year, but then a back injury, and then she tried to come back in Miami. That was much later in the year. So February, she misses the Middle Eastern swing. She can't defend her title in Dubai that was worth 1,000 points, but the back injury took its toll. She was coming back Miami during the Sunshine swing, and then it was illness that knocked her out. So it's been really tough up to this point for Krejčíková. Double-handed backhand cross-court deep from Paolini. Down the line goes Krejčíková. Centre of the court goes Paolini with her fore, and then she spins it and drops it short on the backhand cross-court service line. Good deep backhand from the Italian, and boy, is she roaring right now.
She's come out from the bathroom break with
renewed vigour, hasn't she? A different person. And also, Krejčíková just turned her back on the court then, played with her strings, just took a little bit of a moment there just to kind of settle herself, because she'll be very aware that things could go in a different direction quite quickly if she doesn't keep hold of what the grip she's had on this match so far.
Jasmine Paolini's family from Tuscany, and her uncle Adriano, every round he's taken the dog for a walk before the end of the match, and he says it's worked so well the dog will be going out for a walk probably around now, to be fair. Deep ball from Paolini. She draws the error. She's at love 30.
Krejčíková again just turning around her box there, asking had the ball of Paolini dropped onto her baseline. They all nodded yes. She didn't stop the point that time. Maybe just starting to show a few signs of stress here.
Sun shining down, finding a way through the clouds above. Photographers are still trying to figure out who to focus and train their lenses on. It's kind of a 50-50 split right now, as the serve down the tee is a good one from Krejčíková.
I'm just looking through some of the stats from the first set. She only missed 2 first serves in the first set. She was 19 of 21 first serves made. So when we're talking about the level of Krejčíková just being that high, it really was.
Yeah, it certainly was. You think of some of the players that she's had to beat to get here when you think she hasn't played a lot of tennis this year. Danielle Collins, one of the players of the year, the forehand to forehand cross-court they go, then a short ball in the middle, trying to draw Krejčíková forward, but she stays at the back, the Czech player, with the forehand up the line, then down on one knee, the backhand through the middle of the court, the angle on the off forehand fine by Paolini, the slice into the net from Krejčíková. Break point. Jasmine Paolini at the start of the second set.
All of the support team of Krejčíková in the coaching box are up on their feet, fist pumping back towards her. Her brother's whistling with his fingers. They're as pumped as she is.
So Danielle Collins was beaten by Krejčíková, then Jelena Ostapenko, and then former champion Elena Rybakina. The roots of Barbora Krejčíková looking to say break points, but she just swings the backhand quite tamely into the net through the middle of the court. Multiple fist pumps from Jasmine Paolini. It is game on in this final. She breaks for 2-love.
That was tight, wasn't it, that backhand? She kind of didn't really go for that backhand. It was a very routine rally ball in the middle of the court. There wasn't any pressure on her. She almost had too much time to think about it, and she didn't really release on it. She got quite tense. And wow, what a turnaround.
Certainly is. Jasmine Paolini was so close to going out against Madison Keys. She was 2-5 down in the final set, and then Madison Keys at 5-all had to withdraw injured. But she has fought. Emma Navarro, one of the form players of this year, said she was just blown away by Jasmine Paolini. Then Donna Vekic couldn't stay with the Italian in the end because she fights, she stands toe-to-toe, she never steps back. And she's now 2-love and 15-love. First serve out wide, clips the top of the tape. Some of the headlines in the Italian papers today are Queen Jasmine and Bellissima plastered across the front pages ahead of this final. Serve into the body, the backhand is sort of bunted out, but that is good and deep, but Paolini stops the point.
I think she'd missed her backhand long anyway, so I don't think it would have any impact on it. She kind of looks that she's regretting this decision now, hand on hip, half laughing as she looks up to her team.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't a bad challenge.
I thought that was out. But it is right down the other end of the court. But even when she hit it, I think even Krejčíková thought it was out because she sort of hesitated after she'd hit it.
So 15-all on the Paolini serve, also 28 years of age. Sliced back, forehand approach now from Paolini, but the net is found by Krejčíková. There's little kind of yelp, little forzas after every point that the Italian wins.
30-50.
She's just matching Krejčíkova's energy. In fact, right now she has more of it. Krejčíkova's just been silenced a little bit.
Yeah, she's sort of gone into a shell a bit, hasn't she? And I could tell by the body language that she's sort of gone a bit quieter. She's kind of walking quite slowly in between points. She's just lost a little bit of that sparkle that she brought out onto the court.
The sliced return, the off forehand. She thought about approaching. She doesn't need to approach because the forehand did its job and she brings up game points, looking to consolidate her second set break.
This feels so special for Paolini as well to have that support of the crowd. I mean, maybe if this goes to 3 sets, we'll see a shift, and Krejčíková might have a little bit more of a equal backing from the crowd. But you must think, how special, how lucky when it's not your home country to have it.
Game points. 48 minutes on the match clock. 3 minutes shy of 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This Saturday, as the forehand is netted by the Italian.
That was almost a good miss, that, because it was a really good strike, wasn't it? I mean, she was loose, she was going for it. It was like she had a firecracker in her hand. And, I think those are kind of good misses. If you can ever say there's a good miss, it's not one that's just tight and tense and feeble.
Serve down the tee, it's cut back and chopped back, and the inside-out forehand from Paolini. She so low to the ground with this wide stance, all the strength in those legs. As she goes drop shot, she doesn't make it. It was the right shot.
2 points in a row, and she's hit a good shot, but not quite executed on the ball. It's the right way to play. It's when you're looking up to your box and they're clapping, nodding their heads, encouraging you, doing the right things.
Paolini bouncing up and down on her toes, and sort of 4 firm bounces of the ball with the left hand up to about hip height before she serves down the tee, and the stretch on the block back, it lands in, it's patted over Paolini, it's picked up by Krejčíková, the overhead on the backhand, she can't control it, she leapt up Paolini, she ends up on the floor, there's a big smile on her face, of course there is, but it is break back point for Barbora Krejčíková.
She is honestly so adorable, and this is why the crowd love her so much. Because she has such a wonderful attitude. When things don't always go her way, she just beams a big smile.
Remember, she said when she was young, it wasn't one of her dreams to win a Grand Slam or to be number one. And for Krejčíková, she said, I never thought I would be good enough to be in the position to win a Grand Slam. Winning the French in 2021, the year she won the singles and the doubles. Break back point for Krejčíková, putting some heavy slices, lashing of slice on this ball, but Krejčíková, she hangs her head and the break point is gone.
Yeah, I feel like her slice backhand has slightly gone a little bit. It's disappeared. I don't know whether she'll be able to get it back, but she's not playing it quite with the same amount of conviction. It feels like it's a little bit more pushed and she's not quite as sure of it. And she's been netting quite a few. And once you start to do that with slice backhand, it's quite difficult to get it back again.
Juice into the body, the off backhand on the return. Down the line goes Paolini, and then Paolini with the backhand sort of bunts it deep in the forehand. She's been kept way back. She's got Krejčíková on the defensive. We cannot believe it. She opens up her arms and she looks up to her box and she stares down at the court, and it's game point.
She was annoyed at something in the crowd.
Yeah,
it's kind of showing the chair umpire, as we say, arms out.
That's courtesy to both players. Please remain quiet during the
so somebody maybe shouting out, maybe an out call as the ball was close to the baseline again.
Well, I'm also wondering, is it the Paolini's box as well? Because she was kind of turning around there and gesturing as well, so I'm not sure.
Oh, Krejčíková went for it off the backhand return. She does not make it. The fist bump up to the box.
She's annoyed.
She's very, very annoyed. And let's see how it'll affect her. But for Paolini, she consolidates the break. And I think, Naomi, the interesting thing for Barbora Krejčíková, who initially came to our attention on the doubles circuit, you talked about the 7 doubles titles she's won, and she's won Olympic gold. She wanted to try her hand at singles, but she said without the money that she made from the doubles, she would never have been able to make it on the singles court.
It's tough as well, because when you're trying to navigate your schedule throughout the year, and it happens quite often that the doubles players or the players who played both the singles and the doubles events, their doubles rankings maybe shoot up more quickly. But to then prioritise your singles, there's no point in you playing doubles, or you can do, but the ranking points aren't going to move your ranking. If anything, it might drop lower. But then you're not able to get into the singles events at the events that you can do for, the highest level events that your doubles rankings would get you into. So for Krejčíková, she had to be really patient and wait for the singles to catch up to the doubles ranking, to where she felt it belonged. And as you say, injury coming into play in that as well, finances. When you're travelling part of a doubles team, you're at the WTAs, your hotel's being taken care of, you're earning more money. It's quite a difficult decision to say, okay, I'm going to walk away from this nice level at the top and drop all the way back down and build my singles all the way up from the bottom. But she believed she could do it, didn't she? It was in a way a risk to take, but my goodness,
paid off. I mean, we've seen it a few times in men's tennis, actually, where players have sort of wanted to try and have a go at singles, and it hasn't quite worked out for them. And you kind of think, gosh, you know, was that the right decision? But some of them say, no, I absolutely wanted to find out whether I was good enough.
Do you know who comes to mind? Freddie Nielsen.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was who I was thinking of, yes.
After he won the Wimbledon.
He won Wimbledon
and
here.
Pierre-Hugues Herbert, the Frenchman. Yeah. Grand Slam champion. He won the Calendar Slam in the doubles and was desperate to see where he'd get to on the singles court.
Because they've been good singles players, but just you're comparing it, aren't you, to their doubles when they were one of the best in the world, ranked top 5 or even world number 1 in some cases, and then, you know, maybe you're at best going to be ranked 80 or 90 in the world in singles. But
well, Barbora Krejčíková has been as high as world number 2 in singles. She came into this tournament as the 31st seed in the world number 32. If she wins today, because she's live rankings number 14, if she wins the title, she'll be back into the world's top 10 as she double faults.
She's slightly gone to pieces, actually. I mean, I think she's stewing and steaming at the moment. She needs to kind of calm down a little bit. But I'm sure the crowd are slightly getting on top of her as well. I'm sure that's very difficult to deal with. But the serve, you know, has gone. I think the slice backhand has gone as well.
Serve down the tee, the stretch on the backhand drops over, brings Krejčíková forward. It's a winner. There's a little roar of approval, and she's on the board in game number 4 with Paolini leading by 3 games to love in the second set. Paolini gets herself set into position, sort of marches into position, a little clenches the left fist, and a wide stance. She's leaning forward, twisting the racket in both hands, stepping up to the baseline, laying into the backhand, getting back into the centre of the court, and hitting the forehand, keeping her position on the baseline, not wanting to be pushed back. Oh, outright winner. Back behind Krejčíková, who doesn't even see the ball fly past her, doesn't move, and it's break points for 4-love.
Well, that's strange, because that line judge called it out. She was celebrating, and then he sort of put his hands down. He changed his mind on it. I don't know what happened
saw.
there. Yeah.
Maybe chair umpire overruled, or he overruled himself. It was a clean winner anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For the double break. First serve out wide, the forehand is placed back, and then it's up the line, then it's cut back on the backhand from Paolini, and it drifts long.
30-40.
She's just turned round and just given a little fist pump, Paolini, back towards her box, who were just sitting just behind her in the corner. Very subtle little fist pump, that one.
Krejčíková not looking up from under her white visor, just getting on with preparing herself for this first serve. Then she looks across, 30-40. First serve down the tee, a good deep serve, back through the throat of the court. The angle on the forehand found, the net found by the Italian in its juice.
She'd love a second break here, Paolini, just to give herself more of a gap, more of a cushion. Second set, it's almost in the bag, isn't it, with the double break. Fall of a head, it would be huge, especially when Krejčíková's energy levels have dipped a little bit.
4 minutes shy of an hour on court, serve out wide. Forehand's in play in the centre of the court. There's a big forehand. She's looking to go back behind the Italian, and Paolini couldn't reposition herself in time. And from 15-40, it's game point.
Without the double break, it just feels like the door's been left open. Krejčíková suddenly right back in this.
I agree. I think this is quite a key moment of the match, isn't it? You know, the fact that she had those point for 4-love. She's just made a couple of errors. She's just started to get a little bit more stressed herself. And Krejčíková might have just sort of gone through her little bad patch and might just start to claw back up again, start to bring the level, because the level dropped right off.
Second serve, game point. Into the body. She was there with the forehand, the inside-out forehand, and the backhand is long. Ooh, there's a roar. I think the energy is rising back through the body of Barbora Krejčíková. She is still a breakdown, But from how she looks at it, she is not a double breakdown. Paolini still with the advantage in this second set.
Do you ever think it's worth, Annabelle, in the big matches, just going a bit tighter with your strings? I feel like Paolini, as is freeing up today, she's just hitting ever so slightly long.
Yeah, a little
some
bit
players
long.
tighten up, but some players almost overhit, don't they?
Well, that's right. It depends how nerves display themselves.
Yeah.
Some players, they just start to hit bigger and bigger and they can't control the ball. But I guess you want to keep going with the strings that have got you into that final. You keep going with the rackets that you've had. But she is missing a little bit long, isn't she? And quite a lot often it's what the ball is coming at you. So, she's up against a totally different opponent today who's really hitting with authority.
Gosh, that was a return. The power and the pace was absorbed by the Italian, who sort of half-volleyed from the baseline and drew the error.
15. Incredible return. She has a big take back on the forehand. Krejčíková, she set up. She had a lot of time, 80 miles an hour there on the second serve from Paolini. Sat in the strike zone. Krejčíková made the most of it, but great redirection from Paolini.
Serve down the tee, down to the feet. Paolini was coming forward.
Great return. She saw that move forwards out of her peripheral vision, or if she was
well, she's just thrown it in there a few times, just the serve volley, just to kind of throw it into the mix and just see if she can unsettle what's going on down the other end, because I'm sure she's aware that Krejčíková has had her little bad patch and that it's going to be dangerous territory right now. Oh, yes.
Ace.
30, 15.
What about that for placement? There's lots of getting up and down from the parents of Jasmine Paolini. They're up, they're waving, they're cheering, they sit down again. Sun shines down on centre court here at SW19. Come to 10 minutes past 3. Paolini steps back off the return, hits a forehand into the corner. The lob is up from Krejčíková. Paolini will let it bounce and just pat it over.
There's something slightly comical about some of the stuff she does, isn't there? Everyone thought she was going to smash that away, and she just sort of lightly plopped up her racket like a lollipop and just sort of
it's a little bit
touched it over there.
It's a little bit like Alcaraz, We've seen him do it. He shapes up for power, then just pats it over.
Yeah, just a
Delicately
pat
touches
shot.
it.
She had a big cheeky smile on her face when she was out there doing that just now.
Paolini, game. Oof. Wow, that's a forza that could be held probably not just around her centre court, but around SW19. So 4-1, Paolini holds on to advantage in the second set. First set, Barbora Krejčíková. Right now, over on Sports Extra, the Rugby League is taking place, and we can get the very latest here on 5 Live, courtesy of Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Hull FC 0, Hull KR 6. The visitors have made a bright start in filthy conditions. Hull made a mess of a kick downfield. Jessie Sue powered over close to the post, and it's advantage Hull KR. It's Hull FC 0, Hull KR 6.
Matt, thank you very much. Commentary continues over Sports Extra. I'm delighted to say that Annabelle Naomi and I have been joined in the commentary box by Grand Slam champion, former world #1, and almost fresh off the match court, Kim Clijsters.
Hi. What have I missed here so far?
A lot. Go on.
A lot. Yeah, it's been a wonderful match. I think it started with unbelievable rallies. Krejčíková just so good in every department, but now she's slightly come off a bit. The crowd are very much behind Paolini, who's energised after she came back from her bathroom break, and she's up for this. She's making a fight of it.
Yeah, if you don't look at the score, body language-wise, it looks like Paolini again. We've seen her do it throughout the tournament. She stays positive, and even though she lost the first set, is just always kind of fist pumping before she comes in on the court, and it's the body language is something that's so important, especially in situations like this where the nerves can take over.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you just want to bottle whatever it is that Jasmine Paolini has, because even after losing that first set, she took a comfort break, and then she sprinted back onto the court, just showing everybody the energy and the positivity. All right, 15-love, Barbora Krejčíková, under the bright sunshine, reaches up and serves and slams that first serve into the net. Paolini just swaying from side to side. Now she's upright. She steps up to the baseline. Hits a double-hander backhand to the feet and the double-hander through the middle. And the off forehand from Paolini. The error from Krejčíková, who wipes the sweat from the palm of her right hand on her skirt, and it's 15-all.
Yeah, I think that's usually a sign of nerves, isn't it? When your hand and the palm of your hand starts to get a little bit sweaty. And she's kind of taken away. She could have gone for a slice backhand there, but she tried to top it because, as we said, that she's missing quite a few of those slices. And she's definitely gone into her shell a little bit.
15-all, 1-4, Krejčíková. Oh, it's a big, big serve from Krejčíková. And she yells out, punch, come on, and check. I spoke to Helena Sukova in the build-up today. You ask everyone, what's the success to Czech tennis? And she said, I don't know, but we've got some great juniors coming. I mean, the production line of Czech tennis is phenomenal.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? I think it's just the accessibility. I think also how many of their... Because it's been so widespread in the country for so long, there are so... Kind of like in Italian tennis, there are so many past players now coaching. You know, experience passed on. You might just be walking past a park with a coach there. They've probably been top 100 themselves.
Served down the tee. Well, it was Barbora Krejčíkova's parents who knocked on the door of Jana Novotná and said, can you help our 18-year-old daughter? Yeah. Game points. Gathers the balls on her racket, Krejčíková discards one. She will be reunited with Katerina Siniakova for the Olympics. There were some question marks as to whether they would or wouldn't, having split up at the start of the year. And it was a split that came not out of the blue, but Barbora Krejčíková making it clear that it wasn't her decision. But they will be reunited in Paris on the clay. Oh, service return win around the net post from Paolini.
Unbelievable show. It was an incredible serve from Krejčíková. 94 mile an hour on the second serve. She went big and it was out wide, sliding right off the sideline. Paolini, full stretch, lunging across on the forehand, just scraping across the top of the net for the winner.
I was ready to say wonderful serve. And then the return serve shot back. Serve down the tee. It's another good serve. It's game point. There is the game. There is the roar, and it's 4-2 Paolini.
Yeah, she's upping it again, isn't she? And she has served beautifully, and she definitely has the ability. I mean, Paolini has thrown in the odd big serve, but ultimately it's been, the serving accuracy, I would say, of Krejčíková that's really been impressive today.
Kim, what was your feeling before this final as to how it would play out in terms of the game styles and the characters of them both?
It's very hard because they're both in a new situation, and you always have to kind of take that in consideration. What effect are the emotions going to have on a player? And it kind of takes a lot away. I think Paolini, she has shown that she's, although she doesn't have so much experience in these kind of matches, but she looks so comfortable out there, and she takes it as if.
Short ball picked up. Paolini is there. She smashed it past because she is everywhere.
But personality-wise, Paolini is the situation that she's in right now. She loves that the crowd is behind her. She uses that energy so well to play better and to slowly but surely, kind of crawl back into this match. And we've seen her do it a few times this tournament, and she just really feeds off that energy, and she has a quick kind of walk, but it becomes even faster when she's kind of really getting into the match. And
yeah, it certainly does. Backhand through the middle. Krejčíkova's at net. She volleys. Oh, misses.
Well, interesting to see her taking the ball early and coming forward, wasn't it, as well? Because we've seen Paolini try to change up the tactics a bit and sort of throw in the odd serve volley, come forward, but then this time it was Krejčíková who took a bit of a risk there. Just missing that volley.
I do think Krejčíková does not want to have these long rallies from the baseline against Paolini. She wants to come in and kind of put some different varieties in her game, use the slice, come in, play serve and volley, and to kind of throw her off a little bit. Because once Paolini is in a good rhythm, she is, she defends really well, but she also has a great attacking game, and she can do both.
She has game points for 5-2. The first set went the way of Barbora Krejčíková, 6-2. We're over the hour mark now, an hour and 6 minutes on this Saturday afternoon at SW19. Listening to 5 Live Sport as Paolini serves out wide into the body in the backhand, push back deep from Krejčíková, comes forward on the forehand down the line, the pick up from Paolini, the overhead from Krejčíková, out of the reach of the Italian, and the game will continue.
40-50.
It's the 10th time she's been up at the net in this match. She's won 8 of the points, Krejčíková. Paolini a couple more times. She's been up 13 times. She's won 9 of those points. But we knew, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, what great doubles players these two both are. So the net game was always going to be a factor in this match.
Game point. Ballboy scurries back into position at the back of the court, and Paolini is ready and set and serves in the centre of the box. And the off backhand forehand spun down the line from Paolini, who's now on her backhand side. Double-hander from her, flattens out the backhand this time. She's got game points for 5-2. The forehand is hooked up and wide from Barbora Krejčíková. And a little firm fist pump from Jasmine Paolini. And it is 5-2. In the second set, so she is a game away from taking us to a deciding set here on centre court. Let's find out how the Rugby League action is panning out on Sports Extra, courtesy of Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Hull FC 0, Hull KR 12, and it's former Hull FC fan as a boy, Mikey Lewis, who's danced in just close to the post after yet more pressure from the Robins. Hull FC 0, Hull KR 12.
Matt, thank you very much. And commentary continues right now over on Sports Extra. A full centre court, as you'd imagine, the hustle and bustle as they wonder which way this is going to go. And Kim, I think we have two fascinating players here, both who their dream was, well, one was I'm not good enough to win a Grand Slam, and she's a French Open champion in Barbora Krejčíková. And the other one said, well, no, I was just playing tennis. It was fun. I never really thought about winning a Grand Slam.
No. Usually you hear like, yeah, I always dreamt of this moment. And as a kid, I was inspired by, seeing, former champions do this. And so it was pretty funny, like to hear in her interviews after the French Open, where she said, like, no, like I never thought about like winning a Grand Slam. So she was so surprised, and it probably helps a little bit with the nerves as well, to kind of take this on as this is an amazing experience. Like, I'm so happy to be here. And whereas for Krejčíková, I think, the story too of her, being coached and mentored by the late Jana Novotná, who won here in 1998. It's, I get chills every time I walk into the members' locker room. You see Jana's picture in a golden frame up there, and it's, it has to, be on her mind, and she's spoken about it in the interviews. It's such a deep connection that both of them had, it's an amazing. If she would be able to win here, it would be an absolute amazing moment for her and for both families.
And you wonder if that would start to play a part the closer she got to the finish line, because it is so emotional and it would mean so much. And she has talked about it a lot as the backhand is lofted long by Jasmine Paolini, but there'll be so many emotions floating around for both of these players. Just last month, Jasmine Paolini was in the final of the French against world number 1 Iga Swiatek. Krejčíková battling injuries and illness all year, and here she is in the Wimbledon final. Serving, though, to stay in the second set, 15-all, 2-5. Nets on the first serve. Keeps the head down under that visor, doesn't look up at all. A few high bounces up to sort of hip height, then she looks across, tosses up the ball and serves and gets the backhand return from Paolini, who swivels to the forehand down the line. The backhand is wayward from the Czech player, and it's 15-13. Paolini's 2 points from the set.
I mean, she's sort of unrecognisable from the player that started this match. We were also admiring of how secure she looked. She looked purposeful in every single point she was playing. She looked like she knew exactly what she was trying to do tactically, but it's kind of like evaporated.
Yeah, it certainly has. 15-30. Maybe is the finish line getting closer? The emotions of what it
That's
might
what
mean?
I'm thinking, yeah. And is that then going to happen to Paolini potentially in the third set?
Oh my word, what a third set.
Well, I think they're both
have.
going to have terrible nerves, aren't they, as they get towards the finish line? There's no question. That's understandable.
Backhand clips top of the net and drops over it. Draws Krejčíková in. She picks up and she drops the ball over. And Paolini is running towards that ball with her finger pointed up and a little look up to the box and a look down to the line. And she's not sure.
She's asking the team. They're saying they're not particularly sure either.
Ooh, in.
Oh, out! Great challenge.
She's got a huge cheeky smile on her face.
It's one of those triple zoom Hawkeyes, wasn't it? We had to go all the way in to see how far out it was.
Set points after an hour and 11 minutes to take us the distance in this Wimbledon final. 2-5, 15-40. Krejčíková serving towards the royal box. Serves down the tee. The backhand is in play through the middle. The off forehand missed it.
And second set.
The crowd rise to their feet because we are going the distance on centre court.
One set
An identical identical scoreline, but the other way round. It's Jasmine Paolini who sits down and fist pumps towards her box. We have a one-set shootout to decide the winner of Wimbledon 2024. It's coming your way here on 5 Live after the latest news headlines with Giuliano Cassidy.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Euros and Wimbledon.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says at least 70 people have been killed in an Israeli airstrike near Khan Yunis. The Israeli army says it targeted the Hamas military chief Mohammed Deif. A 34-year-old man is being held by police in London in connection with the discovery of suitcases containing human remains at the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. The police had issued an appeal for information about a Colombian national, which they say it no longer applies. Ukraine's president says he can forget a mistake by Joe Biden where he introduced Mr. Zelensky as President Putin. The US president made the error at a NATO press conference, which has sparked concern among Democrats about whether he should run for a second term in office. And Graziano Di Prima has confirmed he's leaving Strictly Come Dancing. The professional dancer says he deeply regrets the events leading up to his departure and acknowledges what he calls his intense passion and determination to win might have affected his training regime.
On your marks, get set.
Is he going to smash the record?
Comes through the field.
Will she make it to the final round? Have they got enough left to last the distance? When you're cheering on your sporting heroes, there's no feeling like live TV. However you're watching, a TV licence is your must-have pass to over 400 TV channels, with a whole summer of sport to really get your heart racing. And it also funds everything you love from the BBC, including live radio, like this.
BBC Radio 5 Live. Wimbledon 2024 with Gigi Salmon.
On 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
It's lovely to have your company as the sun breaks free from the clouds. Barbora Krejčíková has left the court. We await her return before we start the third and final set to decide who will be crowned Wimbledon champion. So we'll take this opportunity to move away from SW19 and elsewhere. Earlier today, England lost 24-17 to New Zealand at Auckland's Eden Park. Steve Borthwick's side had been 14-13 up at half-time. Wales lost their 9th test match in a row. Australia won through 36-28 in Melbourne. Like England, they lost their series 2-0. Aston Villa are in advanced talks to sign Everton midfielder Amadou Onana. The fee would be in the region of £50 million. England have added fast bowler Mark Wood to their squad for the second test against the West Indies at Trent Bridge. He replaces Jimmy Anderson, who ended his international career at Lord's. And Britain's Tom Pidcock is out of the Tour de France after testing positive for COVID. The riders are currently on stage 14. Tadej Pogacar leads the overall standings, and we will have Henry Patton, a Brit, in action after this women's final in the men's doubles final. But we have a semi-final taking place involving Ben Bartram. It's the gentlemen's wheelchair doubles. Now, this is for the right to face Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reed in the final. At the moment, though, it is the second seeds of Miki Onoda of Japan who are a set up on Bartram and Kawasaki, and they're 30-love in the first game, the Japanese pair, at the start of the second set. So I am going to keep you across how things pan out there. I do believe that Annabelle Croft has left us because Annabelle has the very important job of interviewing the finalists on court at the end of this contest. So we're going to shuffle things around in the commentary box. Are you going to go next door? Right, Kim's going next door. So while Kim goes next door, Naomi, let me have a chat with you, because we're still waiting for Barbora Krejčíková to return to centre court. And after what you've seen over the course of the hour and 15 minutes, what's your feeling going into this deciding set?
It's so tough to call, and I knew Krejčíková would take a bathroom break after that second set, because I don't know if it was the bathroom break of Paolini that disturbed her or if it was the renewed energy of Paolini coming back from her bathroom break. Maybe Krejčíková is hoping whatever Paolini found in the bathroom, she's going to find herself too. But other than the first nervy game of the match from Paolini, the first set was completely on the racket of Krejčíková. She played brilliantly well. She was dominating all the rallies. And then it was the energy levels from Paolini, as we say, that really turned the match around in the second set. And it's so hard to judge for the third set, because if they both match their best levels of tennis, it's going to be incredible. But if they both feel the nerves, which we are expecting to happen, it's going to be incredible, but in a totally different way. So I just hope they're they ebb and flow at the same time.
Kim, how easy or hard or impossible is it in a Grand Slam final to clear your mind and not think about the finish line and not think what awaits you should you cross the finish line? And for Krejčíková, it would be a second Grand Slam, but a first here, and for Paolini, a first Grand Slam title.
It is very hard, and even when you take a break and you kind of try to reset your brain a little bit, you're trying to think about things, especially in Krejčíkova's situation right now. You try to think about, okay, what were the things that I was doing that were really working well here in the first set? What do I have to adjust? How can I kind of break the rhythm of my opponent a little bit? But it is definitely very, very hard. All of a sudden, you're dealing with, some kind of feeling where your legs might not move the same that they used to in the previous 6 matches. Your arm is maybe a little bit heavier. So there's a lot of things that do feel a little bit different. And these are the emotions that you can't practice on. You can't do this in a practice court. You can't replicate this. So this has to, you have to get used to these circumstances.
128 players started the fortnight in the ladies' singles draw. 2 remain, Barbora Krejčíková and Jasmine Paolini. And 1 set will decide the title for 2024. It is Paolini, the Italian, serving first and celebrating a forehand winner to open the deciding set. The 3rd time in 4 years that the ladies' singles final at Wimbledon has gone to a decider. The sun is out. 15,000 people are in their seats on centre court, and they're watching 5'4" Jasmine Paolini ace Barbora Krejčíková.
She's come out all guns blazing, hasn't she? So aggressive. The first forehand in that first point of the game. Big serve there as well.
Trying to continue the momentum from that second set, which he won by 6 games to 2. Krejčíková did not serve as well as she did in the first set. Mind you, it would be hard to repeat the outstanding serving of set number 1. That's long on the return from Krejčíková, so the early signs are that she didn't find in the bathroom what Jasmine Paolini found at the end of the first set. Suddenly, Paolini is happy for the match to continue at a very, very good pace. It was running away from a bit in the first set, but she's in the ascendancy for the moment and full of confidence and swinging a forehand cross-court for a winner and holding to love in the opening game of the deciding set.
What a game to start the 3rd set here in the final.
First game, final set.
Didn't give anything away. I love her body language. It's so good. Even if she might be nervous on the inside, but she'll always try to kind of, be very positive, bring that really good energy. And it's made her come back in matches this tournament where she was able to turn things around because she can really make the opponent doubt because of the body language. And that's something that's so important to, for in any sport really, right? To keep showing, even when you're not really always feeling good throughout the tournament. But always have that positive mindset, and it does make a big difference.
This feels like an important service game for Barbora Krejčíková, having lost that second set by 6 games to 2. And Jasmine Paolini having made a flying start to the deciding set. A let is called. And now this serve is good. The backhand from Krejčíková drilled down the centre, and Paolini goes long with the backhand.
15 up.
Krejčíková, just before the start of this game, just wandered over into that corner in front of the coach's box, just received some instruction from them. Sometimes just need that, don't you? A bit more direction when you've lost belief, lost your way during the match.
Or just one pointer to focus on, right? Because there's so many things that are probably playing in her head right now.
Ace from Krejčíková.
Just to try to keep things simple.
Good response so far. Not a long match, even though we're into a deciding set. They both had a bathroom break at the end of the first couple of sets, and only 1 hour and 21 minutes on the clock as another excellent first serve sees Jasmine Paolini just block that backhand return into the net.
And this is the sort of serving we were seeing from Krejčíková in that first set. Paolini not really able to get into the rallies, neutralise very much. She only missed 2 first serves in the first set, Krejčíková.
She has 40 love, another first serve landed, and the forehand long by Jasmine Paolini. So a perfect response from Krejčíková, looking very much the seasoned professional there at the back of the court, looking like she doesn't have a care in the world, holding to love, 1 game all in the decider. Champion at Roland Garros in 2021, Krejčíková, very emotional in the post-match ceremony. She spoke of Jana Novotná, swinging a backhand cross-court there. Krejčíkova's backhand to the Paolini backhand. Krejčíková into the nets with the backhand, saying on court, on the Philippe Chatrier court at Roland Garros, that Jana Novotná, towards the very end of her life, had told her to go out there and win a Grand Slam singles title. And only in her 5th Grand Slam main draw, she had done exactly that. 3 years on, and after some good runs at Grand Slam since in singles and doubles, she has the chance to win a 2nd title here at Wimbledon. Backhand long, though, from Krejčíková. And Paolini now looking good on serve. Not a single point dropped on serve in the early stages of this 3rd set.
I don't think either of them look nervous. They're just ready for the battle right now, aren't they? Really into this match, as you're saying, both becoming more and more comfortable on serve as the match progresses. See if it's the same story in a couple of games' time.
We'll see, yeah. But I also think it helps the fact that they're a little bit older, you know, that you're able to deal with those kind of emotions maybe a little bit better as when you're, you know, we've seen 16, 17, 18-year-olds out here.
Slice backhand wide from Paolini. Some good hitting from the baseline by Krejčíková. Yes, 2 28-year-olds trying to win a 1st Wimbledon singles title.
When I say old, they're not old in tennis. They're old in tennis terms, right?
It's relatively late to appear in a 1st Grand Slam final at Wimbledon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a 1st Grand Slam final in total. Good serve from Paolini. Krejčíková goes wide with the backhand return. And 2 game points for Paolini at 40-15. The Italian serves to the forehand of Krejčíková. Paolini nets. Good return by Krejčíková. Down on 1 knee. Paolini, almost squatting, puts the forehand into the base of the net.
I think Krejčíkova's just trying to up her aggression a little bit here, because the first set, again, she was really controlling all the rallies up to sort of 5 to 8 shots, even 0 to 4 shots. It was all off her racket.
1 game point left for Paolini, who's missed the first serve. Second serve. Krejčíková standing on the baseline. Backhand from Paolini. Krejčíkova's forehand. Paolini cross-court with the forehand. Krejčíková slices the forehand on the forehand of Paolini. Backhand Paolini. Krejčíkova's forehand with air is in. The forehand from Paolini, and that's long from Krejčíková. And that is a big celebration by the Italian. Punches the air. That punch really cutting through the air. And she's held. And it's 2-1 to Paolini in the most important set of their lives, Gigi.
Certainly is. And as we mentioned earlier, Jasmine Paolini is playing in back-to-back Grand Slam finals for the very first time. And she's the first player to do this in the same year since Serena Williams back in 2016. Now, someone who knows what it's like to win a Grand Slam title is Italian former player Roberta Vinci, who is backing Paolini to go all the way.
She's playing so good. She plays so good in Paris. She lost in the final against Swiatek, but she's in confidence. She's a great player. She's a good fighter. So I'm really happy to watch her in the finals. And of course, finger crossed about for tomorrow.
Why has she become so good this year? Because she's 28. She's been around a while. I remember, you know, it was later in your career that you broke through too.
I think with a lot of training and a lot of tennis, a lot of physics. So every single day, every step is going up. So probably now she's in confidence and she plays good.
So she's going to face Barbora Krejčíková.
Yes.
What do you expect to happen in that match?
Well, it will be a tough match, especially because it's a final, you know. So probably both they're gonna be nervous. But Krejčíková is a great player. She's a good slice, so she plays so good at volley. So it will be difficult, but it's gonna be tough.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well,
who's going to win?
I'm scaramantic, so I don't want to say nothing. But of course, I hope that Jasmine is going to win.
Roberta Vinci, who won the doubles title here back in 2014 alongside Sara Errani, who is the current doubles partner of Jasmine Paolini.
15.
Thank you, Gigi. 15-love, Barbora Krejčíková, 1-2 down, but on serve in this deciding set. Beautiful sunshine now. The sunshine that has been missing for much of the fortnight. That first service pushed long by Krejčíková. She's the only two of the players to be wearing a white visor. Everything needs to be very white at the All England Club. Second serve, backhand return from Paolini. Krejčíková with the forehand, and the top spin has brought that down onto the baseline.
Paolini just watching it fly by, hoping and praying it was going to drop long, but as you say, the amount of top spin that Krejčíková could get on it, finding the baseline just at the last second. Puff of chalk, no arguments.
30-love, Krejčíková. Backhand return from Paolini. Paolini's backhand cross-court. Krejčíková with the backhand down the line. Paolini cross-court with the forehand. Krejčíková cross-court with the forehand. Now Paolini down the line and stretching the Czech opponent. Backhand from Paolini. Krejčíková now very much back in the rally and hitting deep. Paolini with the forehand. Krejčíková with more weight on that forehand. And that breaks the deadlock as Paolini is unable to make the forehand return.
14.
And 3 game points for 2-all deciding set.
You look up to the coaches' boxes. The teams sit almost right next to each other here on centre court. There's just maybe a metre gap between them both, and they trickle on over into the seats behind the box, don't they, as well, by finals day, because everybody, of course, wants a ticket, but both groups standing on their feet, whoever wins the point.
Excellent serve onto the line. It's a love hole for the second time in a row by Krejčíková, and it must be quite an experience of being in that box with so much on the line. You're so desperate for your player, your relative to succeed, and people just a couple of yards away from you are equally desperate, Kim.
Yeah, it was funny yesterday, even during Novak's match against Musetti, when he was kind of, won a couple important games, and the Italians' box was kind of standing up, and Novak's kids were kind of like looking over, like, what are they doing? Why are they cheering against Dad? Yeah, very close.
2 games all. Forehand into the net from Krejčíková. Jasmine Paolini at 28. And interesting listening to Sara Errani there, who was the runner-up in a Grand Slam singles, talking about Italians developing at a later age. The other 2 Italian female singles Grand Slam champions of the Open era are Francesca Schiavone, who was about to turn 30 when she won Roland Garros in 2010, as Krejčíková nets the service return, and Flavia Pennetta, who was 33 when she won the US Open in 2015.
And she just mic dropped. You said Sara Errani there. It was Roberta.
Sorry, you're right. Ignore the first part of that little chat. The rest of it was accurate, I think. Getting my Italians muddled up.
Well, Sarah is sat in the box, isn't she? So easy,
Yeah.
easy mix-up.
Forehand. Short for Krejčíková. Hit just wide of the sideline. Immediately, Jasmine Paolini knew that was wide, and she's now moving to 3 game points.
And this last game that we saw, where Paolini is defending so well, and she's capable on the stretch to bring another ball back. That should be an easy winner for Krejčíková, but she's won so many points like that in important moments where she's able to make the opponent doubt because she does run and defend so well, and she makes you hit the line to hit the winner, to win the point. And
that's wide, chipped forehand return by Krejčíková, another straightforward hold, and it's 3-2. It's Jasmine Paolini, because she's serving first, who is inching in front.
Paolini leads by 3.
And we'll be back to centre court very shortly. But let's check in at the Scottish Open, where there is Ian Carter, a new name at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, yes, company for Ludwig Aubert at the top of the leaderboard in the shape of 2 players, and one of them is the home favourite Bob McIntyre. He picked up a birdie at the 3rd, a birdie at the 4th, and then got it onto the green at the par 5 6th in 2, hold the eagle putt. So birdie, eagle to catapult himself to 12 under par. He's now on the 7th at 12 under, alongside Adam Scott, who's had 4 birdies in his first half dozen holes. Aubert on the first tee is at 12 under par and about to get his 3rd round underway. Rory McIlroy has picked up 1 shot so far, so he's within 2 shots of the lead as he plays the 4th.
Ian, thank you very much, and we'll keep you across events at the Scottish Open here on 5 Live, courtesy of Ian Carter. You can follow events on the BBC Sport website. Sports Extra, you have the Rugby League commentary. We'll continue to weave through build-up to tomorrow night's Euro 2024 final between England and Spain. We've got the men's final to come tomorrow. A little update on Ben Bartram and his partner Daniel Kawasaki in the semi-finals, the gentlemen wheelchair doubles. They are set down, and now they are a breakdown to the second seeds, Miki and Oda. And if you would like to watch the television pitches, but you would like our commentary alongside it, then all you have to do is go to the iPlayer and you can sync up the two, so you can have all our chat and commentary while watching the glorious pitches as we look out over centre court. It is 3:41 on a Saturday afternoon. The match has lasted just over an hour and a half, and Krejčíková is getting things going at the start of the 6th game.
She's 2-3 down in this deciding set, but she's not dropped a point on serve yet in this decider, and her forehand cross-court keeps that 100% record alive.
15 love.
They've hit their forehands so incredibly well, don't they? They come right round the outside edge of the ball, and it's funny in the women's game because you feel the games that do well on the clay transfer over so well onto the grass as well, because it is the girls that get the extra spin on the ball, the work on it, and it just slides away on the grass.
Krejčíková, 15 love, hits the central tee with an ace.
The men's side of the game, it's more like the clay quarters do well, and then the more aggressive players on the grass. But I feel in the women's game they kind of merge into one a bit.
Not so many long rallies in this deciding set, but some fine serving. Another good one here from Krejčíková. Very short high return by Paolini, and the smash doesn't quite do the job for Krejčíková, but she's alert enough to hit the forehand volley to the back of the court, and that is now 11 points out of 11 she's won on serve in this deciding set.
Yeah, very good first start from both players on their service games in this last set.
Three game points for Krejčíková. Does miss a first serve this time. Second serve for the French Open champion of 2021. And that is long, so that ends that perfect sequence, and she only has herself to blame because it was a double fault. But still, 40-15 in front as we watch this ladies singles final here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds with Naomi Brodie and Kim Clijsters, the winner of 4 Grand Slam singles titles. And that's an ace from Krejčíková. Not much acknowledgement from the crowd. Everybody a bit confused, including Jasmine Paolini, who has a quick chat with the line judge, accepts the call, and now centre court wakes up. 3 games all deciding set.
I think they're ever so slightly still in favour of Paolini, aren't they? But a little bit more evenly matched, as we thought they might become as they headed on into the 3rd set.
And both players playing with a great deal of freedom and a high level of skill and composure. Who is going to get the first break in the decider? Paolini on the run. Hits the backhand wide as she goes down the line. So is chasing this particular service game. Maybe nobody will blink. Maybe there will be a 10-point tiebreak to decide this final at Wimbledon. Blocks back on the forehand by Krejčíková. Paolini's forehand. Krejčíková with the forehand. Paolini's backhand is long. So for the first time in this deciding set, there is serious pressure on the server.
Love 30.
That's all it takes, isn't it? An unforced error here or there. Can Krejčíková grab this opportunity?
Paolini ready to serve at love 30. Forehand return from Krejčíková. She's not got all of that, but she's still in this rally. Very deep from Paolini. Here's the volley from the Italian, which is a winner.
Unbelievable composure from Paolini there. She looked a little bit nervy in her footwork, trying to bring herself up off the baseline onto the short ball that Krejčíková had given her from her return. And she made the volley as tough as she could, kept it really low and hard, but great hand skills.
Yeah, that's where the experience of doubles comes in handy.
Backhand return from Krejčíková is long, so love 30 has become 30 all on the Paolini serve.
30.
This is where you Krejčíková, when it's 15:30, it's not the fastest serves, 93 miles per hour to, one of her, probably her best shot, her backhand. You have to make that return at this stage of the match.
Forehand return from Krejčíková. Can she set up the first break point of the deciding set? She's got a short ball, and she's hit the forehand cross court for the winner.
And even if you're anticipating into that corner, there's no way you're getting that back. She hits it so well, so hard, so much side spin. It's just continuing to move away from the opponent after it's bounced.
And hard to read, too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like she can change the direction really, at the last fraction of a second.
Here's Barbora Krejčíková's first chance. Backhand from Paolini, who's break point down. Forehand Krejčíková. Paolini with the backhand down the centre. Krejčíková with a forehand. Paolini down the line with a forehand. Slice backhand Krejčíková is long. Big celebration from Jasmine Paolini behind the baseline. Walking very smartly to the box where the towels are stored at the back of the court. Clenching her left fist. A mighty relieved woman, no doubt. She saved the first break point of this deciding set.
Footwork just getting ever so slightly slower from both now. The first sign of nerves, as we said, getting to the back end of this match now.
Barbora Krejčíková, she has such a good slice, so to her to see kind of an easy one is rare.
Backhand slice from Krejčíková. This one is good. The forehand from Paolini. Krejčíková's backhand. Paolini cross court with the forehand. Krejčíková with air with the forehand down the line. Cross court with the backhand Paolini. Paolini's forehand cross court. Krejčíková with more pace on the forehand cross court, and it's long from Paolini. Krejčíková stepping it up, earning a second break point of the game.
It's a great mix-up from Krejčíková, as you mentioned, Russell. The extra height that she gave the ball down the line, then the extra pace she went in the next one on the cross court.
Break point number 2 on the Paolini serve. She's missed the first serve.
Late call.
Jasmine Paolini is challenging the call. Right.
This is a huge challenge to hit a second serve after you've waited this long. Break point down.
Have a lot of time to think.
Long. So this is a second serve. Will she be out of sync? Break point down for a second time. It's long. Double fault from Paolini after challenging the first serve, and Krejčíková leads by 4 games to 3.
4 games to 3, final set.
Ouch.
Jasmine
and asking to
Paolini
see
has
the
2
challenges. It's just so tough at this stage of the match. It's, you do get into your head a little bit when you have to focus on hitting a second serve, and at this stage it gets even harder. So sometimes it's better to just kind of say, okay, just leave it be, trust the call, and stay in that normal routine that you're used to.
Well, I wonder if that is the decisive moment of this final. We shall see. Jasmine Paolini has come back from worse situations over the course of the last 7 weeks. French Open finalist. Hadn't won a grass court match when she arrived at Eastbourne. Had a run to the semi-finals there. And now into this
Time.
final, having recovered from 5-2 down, a double breakdown in the deciding set against Madison Keys in the fourth round, admittedly helped extricate herself from that situation by Madison Keys' left hamstring pull. And then there was the semi-final. Twice a breakdown to Donna Vekic in the deciding set, winning in a third set tiebreak in 2 hours and 51 minutes. She's going to have to come from a breakdown here as well. The trouble for Paolini, the worry for Paolini, though, is that the games are running out. Barbora Krejčíková 2 games away from the title and serving. And missing a first serve here on centre court on 5 Live.
Every change of ends, you see Barbora Krejčíková to, she puts like a cream onto her hands to have that sticky kind of feeling when she holds onto the racket.
Backhand return from Paolini, backhand down the centre from Krejčíková, and the error. And it's a wild error from Paolini on the backhand return.
Just starting to get frustrated, Paolini here. She's still stood with her back to the court, doing her strings, just taking an extra breath, taking her time here. The crowd can feel it too. It's starting to slip away.
Love. It's an ace from Krejčíková, who is continuing with this relentless serving in the third set onto the sideline.
Yeah, she's only dropped the 1 point. 9 for 9 behind her first serve, 5 out of 6 behind her second serve in this third set.
Yeah, that toilet break counter helped her definitely to regroup.
Another fine serve from Krejčíková, and the return is long, and Paolini is shaking her head. But this is a steely third set performance from Barbora Krejčíková. The only point she's dropped on serve so far was courtesy of that double fault in the previous game. 40 love. 3 points. The luxury of 3 points for a 5-3 lead in the deciding set of the Wimbledon final. Paolini reaching for it, but can't make clean contact with the forehand. A love hold, again, for Barbora Krejčíková, who's 1 game away from the title.
And very good variety in the serves as well. She has a good mixture of hitting the serves out wide, down the tee, hitting a lot of lines as well. Very, very hard for Paolini to get into a rhythm, to start to read the serve. Great serving this set from Krejčíková.
Jasmine Paolini back to the wall once again. Misses the first serve, serving to stay in the final. The Wimbledon final. 5 weeks after losing the final at Roland Garros to Iga Swiatek. Great return here from Krejčíková. Can she win it in this game? Not if she hits a forehand over the baseline, as she did there. And a little bit of light relief finally for Jasmine Paolini.
This is the moment where at least I did, where you say to yourself, okay, try to get it done in this game, because that last game on your serve is so stressful.
Paolini stepping up now, though, on serve as well, with a serve down the tee, and it's chopped into the net on the forehand by Krejčíková.
Well, it has to be her only goal right now, doesn't it? Just to force Krejčíková to serve it out, as you say, Kim. It's the ultimate task to do for every match, let alone a Grand Slam.
Paolini, 30 love. Forehand return from Krejčíková. Paolini with a forehand down the line. Krejčíkova's backhand, and the volley from Paolini is beautifully done. Backhand volley winner, and it's just really that one service game where she got herself into a mess and conceded serve with that double fault. Other than that, she too has looked very secure on serve throughout this deciding set. But will that one error cost her the Wimbledon title? 3 game points at 3-5. Paolini serves, backhand from Krejčíková. Paolini into the net with the backhand.
Just trying to recover a little bit too quickly there, I think, falling off the shot. Not sending her body weight up the court through the ball.
40-15. Warm sunshine on centre court. Backhand return from Barbora Krejčíková right into the corner. Now stepping inside the baseline and crunching the backhand away.
40-30. One more game point left.
Jasmine Paolini's work to hold serve is not done yet. Serving in front of the raw box. 1 game point left. Backhand into the net from Krejčíková. So, Gigi, there is still life in this final. Barbora Krejčíková, 1 game away from the title, will serve for the title in a few seconds' time.
Kim, you spoke about Barbora Krejčíková wanting to get it done on the Paolini serve so she wouldn't have to serve it out. Take us back to a moment, one of the finals, one of the 4 titles you won at Grand Slam final level, of what you were going through, what she might be going through ahead of stepping up to serve for the Wimbledon title in this case.
Yeah, you're really telling yourself to just stick to the same routine. Try, have your same kind of momentum that you do in between the points that you play. But at the same time, there's this other voice that's saying, "1 more game. You're so close. You can do it. You're 1 game away." And it does change. She's won a Grand Slam, so she does have the experience of dealing with that emotion a little bit. So it becomes a little bit easier, and that voice that tells you, like, this is just like any other game. You're serving well. It's kind of, you're having this conversation between 2 parts of your brain that are going back and forth. And it's the one that, can stay calm is the one that you want to focus on the most.
Kelly
A
Rask
4-time
calls time.
Grand Slam champion as Barbora Krejčíková steps up to serve to try and become a 2-time Grand Slam champion, Russ.
This is her moment. Jasmine Paolini was out very, very swiftly there when the umpire called time, and Barbora Krejčíková was not far behind her. Here she goes in front of the raw box, serving for the Wimbledon title. Good start. Backhand return from Paolini is in. Krejčíkova's forehand down the line is a winner, and she does not look in the mood to relinquish this advantage. She was 4 points away. She's now 3 points away from the crown.
Another really good first serve that helped her get a great setup for her forehand.
5-4, 15-love. Perhaps an indication of the nerves she's feeling as she doesn't go through with the serve there, but does now, and it's a good one down the middle. Well returned on the forehand by Paolini, but a terrifically deep forehand from Krejčíková, who's bossing this rally at the moment. Her backhand onto the Paolini backhand, and that is long. And she looks nerveless, Barbora Krejčíková. She is putting together the most remarkable final set of this Wimbledon final.
Both teams in the coaching box are on their feet. Paolini's desperately trying to cheer her on, tapping their chest, saying, "Give it everything you've got." Krejčíkova's cheering her on.
30-love as she serves for the title. Krejčíkova's first serve into the net. Second serve for the 28-year-old from the Czech Republic. And there we go. A double fault from Krejčíková. I said she looked nervous. That is the impression she has given us, but that is a reminder that she is feeling anything but.
It's only the second point she's lost on serve, and both of them, in this third set, and both have been double faults.
Incredible. 30-15, still 2 points away from the title, and again, throws the ball up, lets it drop. Which you are fully entitled to do. This time, the serve is good. The forehand from Paolini. Onto the baseline, Krejčíková hits the forehand onto Paolini's baseline. Cross-court with the forehand, Krejčíková. The squash shot forehand from Paolini. Now the backhand cross-court from the Italian. Krejčíková has gone long with the backhand. Paolini a long way behind the baseline, but defending for a Wimbledon life. And there is still very much life in this final.
You give yourself that 2-point lead in the game, and then all of a sudden, a couple tight shots and back to even, 30 all. That does not help for the nerves.
30 all, Krejčíková serves. Paolini's forehand, she's not got hold of that. It's a very short ball. A slice forehand from Krejčíková, who had to improvise. Now the backhand from Krejčíková, trying to set up championship point. Backhand Krejčíková, backhand Paolini. Very careful rally, and the error from Krejčíková. From nowhere, she's lifted a backhand over the baseline, and it's break-back point.
Oh no, this is when the nerves are setting in strong.
You can see it. We're sitting right behind where she took the ball from the ball girl, and you can see her panting, like she's breathing through her mouth, short breaths, which is normal, but not where you want it to happen right now.
3 points in a row won by Jasmine Paolini, who has break-back point to level the deciding set at 5-all. Krejčíková lands the first serve. Backhand Paolini. Krejčíková with a forehand. Paolini with a forehand. The backhand volley from Krejčíková. Rock solid again. Normal service resumed as far as Barbora Krejčíková is concerned.
I think that's where she needs to be right now, where she probably wants to be. Get up to the net. You know, it's the place that fewer things can go wrong. You don't need to worry about your racket head speed staying up when your racket's suddenly feeling very heavy. Same with the footwork. Volleying suddenly seems much more simple.
How must those legs be feeling right now?
Bit heavy.
Everything, the arm, the legs.
Deuce, Krejčíková. Trying again to set up a championship point, puts a first serve into the net. Wipes the sweat from her right palm against her skirt. And is now ready to serve. The second serve, the kick serve, the backhand return from Paolini. Forehand Krejčíková. Paolini on the move and in trouble and going long with the forehand. And this now is the moment Barbora Krejčíková has dreamed of. Championship point to win the Wimbledon singles title. She is balancing 4 balls on the strings of her racket. 1 goes in a pocket. 2 are discarded to the ball girl at the back of the court. And now she has the ball that she hopes will serve her way to the title. Championship point Krejčíková. Forehand return Paolini. Backhand from Krejčíková. Long. And a long way long as she went for the backhand winner that would have won the title.
She's got a right smile on her face. She's licking her lips. Her mouth must just be feeling
This
so
attention
dry.
smile, right? Like,
She can't believe she missed it. She got the serve. Paolini just scrapping to keep the ball in play. It was a short ball on the backhand. She'd have eaten it up throughout the rest of the match.
Back to Deuce. Championship point saved by Paolini, who's now slicing a backhand. Krejčíková inside the baseline with a forehand. Paolini's forehand. Krejčíková down the line with a forehand. Paolini's backhand. The volley from Krejčíková. It's sitting up for Paolini, and it's a passing winner.
What's a point from Paolini?
people are standing on their feet.
Desperate for Paolini to get the break here. The centre court crowd, incredible aggression. She just picked her target. As we said, Krejčíková, she wants to be up at the net right now. Paolini just picking the target on the pass. She made it.
This is as an opponent, you feel that your opponent across the net has so much tension and is not hitting with quite as much speed as she was a couple of minutes ago.
It's a second break back point, and Krejčíková has gone long with the first serve.
And Paolini has shown this week, especially, how good she is at kind of sensing that momentum.
Second serve, it's a very, very tight one. A forehand now from Krejčíková. The backhand from Paolini. Krejčíková with a forehand. She has hit a sideline.
Paolini is challenging the ball on the left. Far sideline. The ball was called in.
It's worth a challenge. It was close, but I'm pretty sure there was a bit of a puff of chalk inside the line.
Wow.
A hope and desperation, that challenge.
The forehand had a bit more conviction than the second serve.
That's funny because sometimes it's easier to do that when you're break point down than when you're match point up. And it's
This is the deciding set of the ladies' singles final on 5 Live. Barbora Krejčíková serving for the title, 5-4 and back to deuce. She's had a championship point, and she will have a second championship point, having served an ace. Jasmine Paolini walks fairly forlornly to the other side of the court. First time of asking, Krejčíková put a backhand long. Will she have learnt from that? A championship point for a second time to win Wimbledon. Krejčíková serves, forehand from Paolini, onto the sideline, backhand slice Krejčíková, Paolini's backhand, Krejčíková into the net with a slice backhand. And it's horrible to watch a second championship point disintegrates.
It was halfway up the net, wasn't
that
it?
slice was not even near.
This is when you are just glued to the match. You can't simply look away, even though it almost hurts you. You feel the nerves along with her, but it's just so interesting.
And as a player, you feel the tension building up. You feel the crowd gets into that. They feel it.
Krejčíková very close to a service winner there. but the serve was called wide. She'd stretched Paolini out wide to her forehand side. But it's a second serve now. Deuce once again. Backhand return into the net from Paolini. This will be a third championship point for Barbora Krejčíková.
A bit more on that second serve, 85 miles an hour.
You would always want her to jump around a little bit, kind of, you know,
get the nervous energy out the body. So easy to say from in here, Kim.
Definitely.
Championship point number 3 for Barbora Krejčíková. First serve is a really good one, and it's one of the Wimbledon title. As the Paolini backhand goes long. And here on centre court, where her mentor and very close friend Jana Novotná won the title in 1998, Barbora Krejčíková has won the singles title 26 years on. Go out and win a Grand Slam title, Jana Novotná said to her as she approached the end of her life. Well, Krejčíková did that at Roland Garros 3 years ago. And now she's done it at Wimbledon in 2024, taking a third championship point to win a second Grand Slam title. And the ovation for 15,000 people is for her as she drops her racket and is now jogging towards the players' box. And we are going to see that walk through the stands and up through the gate that has been very handily installed in recent years for triumphant processions like this. Barbora Krejčíková, twice a Wimbledon doubles champion, and now a Wimbledon singles champion. Not quite finding her way immediately, but now being shown the right direction by a helpful steward. And going past those who will be commiserating in the Jasmine Paolini box, and now is just submerged. A sea of hugs to mark the moment that Barbora Krejčíková won Wimbledon.
It's really emotional to watch, isn't it? Just swallowed up by her team, by her family, her friends. They almost all fell over. But just the tightest of hugs, so many tears, and a few from those of Paolini, who's just sat on the court, has to watch. The door actually was opened by the coach of Paolini, and
he gave her a hug.
To Krejčíková. She passed on by to celebrate with her team.
And the celebrations will continue, and the trophy will be presented to Barbora Krejčíková very shortly. At the moment, the championships referee, Denise Parnell, is just having a word with Jasmine Paolini, who is sitting on her chair explaining what is about to happen. And huge sympathy for her, because she's had a remarkable spring and summer, runner-up at Roland Garros and runner-up at Wimbledon, emulating, if that is the right word, Venus Williams in 2002, who was the last to lose both the French Open and Wimbledon finals in the same year. But she once again has played her part with a sparkling run to the final. But the ovation, Gigi, as she makes her way back onto centre court, is for Barbora Krejčíková, the champion of 2024.
A two-time Grand Slam champion, winning the French Open in 2021 and now Wimbledon champion in 2024. And when you think she'd won just 2 singles matches between February and June this year, she started the year well in Australia, but then a back injury set her back. And then it was illness midway through the season that stopped her once again. And then to come here at Wimbledon, and she's also being told how the ceremony is going to play out. And they are rolling out the green carpet. The presentation party awaiting. The ball boys and ball girls are about to be led out, and they will line the route of the presentation party, and it'll be Annabelle Croft who is carrying out the injuries. But you have to say, Kim, for Barbora Krejčíková, who is known on the doubles circuit, she used the money that she won through doubles to fund herself on the singles circuit. As we welcome out all the ground staff onto the court and the line judges. And here is Kim Barbora Krejčíková as the Wimbledon champion.
Amazing, amazing. Before the match in the locker room too, she was so focused. And the locker room ladies, there's a couple of posters that they ask you to sign that they give away to charity. And she said, can I not do it now before the match? Is it okay if I do it after the match? And it was, just to kind of stay in that routine. She didn't, maybe is it superstitiousness where you don't want to jinx anything, you don't want to get distracted, but an amazing moment with the history of her relationship with Jana Novotná, with her being a doubles player, and it's what more inspiration can you have? And I'm sure she thought about that in that last game where we saw her get a little bit more tight, but she was able to come up with some really good serves, and it's the serve that made the difference in that third set. She just was very, very solid on that serve, and it helped her get through that last service game.
Her name has already been etched onto the winner's board, so when she makes her way off centre court and she looks up, the board that she was looking at before she made her way out for the final, she will see her name engraved. But Russell, everything is now all set. I think Annabelle will take it away as she introduces the presentation party.
It's time now for the trophy presentation for the ladies' singles. Please welcome onto court, centre court, Debbie Jevons, Chair of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, and Sandy Proctor, President of the LTA.
And this year, the trophies will be presented by Debbie Jevons. That's at the request of Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, who's the patron of the club, who is continuing her treatment for cancer, but will be here tomorrow to present the prizes and the trophies after the men's final. They are taking that familiar walk along the green carpet, shaking hands and exchanging a few words with the ball boys and ball girls who've been on duty over the past 14 days.
First, please show your appreciation for the chair umpire, Kelly Rask.
After 20 years of working at Wimbledon in various capacities, a first ladies singles final for the 37-year-old from Lincoln. And fairly drama-free.
And now to the runner-up from Italy, Jasmine Paolini.
For the second time then in 2 Grand Slams, it's a runners-up ovation for Jasmine Paolini. She was the first Italian woman to reach the Wimbledon final in the Open era. And she is now receiving that runners-up plate from Debbie Jevons, the silver plate. And do I need to tell you that she's still managing to conjure up a smile from somewhere as she does a 360-degree turn? A rather sombre one as she acknowledges the applause of the crowd.
And the ladies singles champion for 2024 from the Czech Republic, Barbora Krejčíková.
Now a 2-time Grand Slam singles champion. Barbora Krejčíková walks towards Debbie Jevons to receive the Venus Rosewater dish that's been awarded to the ladies singles champion since 1886. She has her hands on the trophy. And she's almost frozen in the moment before now finally lifting that trophy. Rather self-consciously perhaps at the moment, but she's going to get used to the title of Wimbledon champion.
Jasmine, you gave everyone here such a wonderful, wonderful final. You fought so incredibly hard. It's so tough to speak after a loss, but just try and put into words your thoughts on this final.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. To see this stadium full, it's a dream come true, to play here in this stage. And I would like to congrats Barbora. You played unbelievable. You play such a beautiful tennis, and congrats to you and your team, of course.
And despite the loss, Jasmine, you reached the final of the French Open Roland Garros just a few weeks ago. You're the first Italian woman ever to reach the final here at Wimbledon. sure you'll agree by the reaction of the crowd here that you should be so proud of your achievements over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, the last 2 months are being crazy for me, and yeah, I want to thank you, my team, my family, everybody who is there, because, they always support me, they always believe in me, so without them I wouldn't be here, so thank you very much. Vi voglio bene. The crowd has been amazing these 2 weeks. I received a lot of support. Just incredible to, feel the love from them. I enjoyed so much. Yeah.
I think you've melted everyone's hearts here. And I'm sure you have melted everyone's hearts with your wonderful smile. Whether you win a point or you lose it, you're always smiling. I'm sure they'd love to hear that you'll definitely be back.
I hope so. Today I'm a little bit sad. I try to keep smiling, because I have to remember that today it's still a good day. I did finally Wimbledon. I was looking at the TV as a kid, looking at the finals, cheering for Federer, I have to say. To be here right now, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I think I enjoyed every moment here. It's been a beautiful 2 weeks. I want to thank you, everybody who made this tournament possible, the ball kids, the referees, the LTA, I don't know, everybody. I'm going to forget somebody, but please don't be mad with me. Just thank you. Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck in the future. Your runner-up, ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Paolini.
Thank you.
Her exploits over the last couple of months have made her a top 5 player. Lots to look forward to going forward. The US Open just 6 weeks away, but here now comes the champion.
Wow, Barbora, what a wonderful, wonderful final. You fought so hard. Did you ever dream that you would one day be holding this beautiful trophy?
Hello everybody. Words right now. I don't have any words. It's just unreal what just happened. It's definitely the best day of my tennis career, and also the best way of my life. It's super difficult to explain what I'm feeling right now. I would like to congratulate Jasmine and her team. She had great two weeks she was playing. It was a great final. We were just fighting for every single ball, and at the end I was the lucky one. But on the other hand, she played Roland Garros in a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing what she was able to achieve in such a short period. So big congratulations.
It was such a tense ending to the match. There were so many twists and turns. There was a lot of tension and a lot of nerves. Just talk us through what you put yourself through emotionally to get yourself over the line in that last game.
Well, I was just telling myself to be brave, and if the game doesn't go, it's 5-all, and we continue, and we would be playing, I think, even now. So, it was such a difficult match, such a great final, such a great competition, and I enjoyed it so much, and I'm super happy that I'm standing here and that I can enjoy this moment.
You were watched on today. Oh wait. You were watched on today from the Royal Box by another great champion, Martina Navratilova. What do you think it will mean to your home country, the Czech Republic, your home town where you grew up, and all your friends and family? What will it mean to all of them?
Well, I think nobody really believes it. I think nobody believes that I got to the final, and I think nobody's gonna believe that I won Wimbledon. I mean, I still cannot believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, just 2 weeks ago I started here. I had a very tough first match, 3 hours 15, winning 7-5 in third set, and I wasn't really in a good shape before that because I was injured and ill, and I didn't really have a good beginning of the season. And I mean, it's unbelievable. Now I'm standing here and I'm a Wimbledon winner. Like how that happened? I have no idea.
You worked extremely hard for it. Now, of course, today we can't celebrate because you drew inspiration from someone very, very special in your life, the late Jana Novotná, who, of course, won this title back in 1998. You've talked a lot about when you were a young girl, you went to her house, you knocked on the door with your mum, you gave her a letter. You must look back at that moment right now and feel like that was a very inspirational moment. What would it mean to her?
Well, I think coming to Jana, knocking on her door, giving her the letter, everything that happened during that moment, I think it just changed my life. It definitely changed my tennis life, because I mean, during the period when I finished juniors, I didn't know what I should do, if I should continue and play pro, or if I should, go the way of education. And Jana was the one that told me that I have the potential and that I should definitely turn pro and just try to make it. And I mean, before she passed away, she told me to go and win a slam. And I mean, I achieved that already in Paris in 2021, and it was an unbelievable moment for me. And I never really dreamed of that I would win the same trophy as Jana did in 1998.
And here you are standing with it. It's an amazing moment. Before we let you go, how are you going to celebrate tonight? Have you got your eye on something? Are you going to treat yourself?
I mean, I don't know now. I don't know. I mean, I was, like somewhere inside me, I hoped I can win, but I didn't know until the very last point. So I will need some time. I'm gonna talk to my team. Also, I would like to thank them, because we went through a lot, and especially in last couple of months, and I'm super happy that we got through and that we are here, and then we can celebrate with this beautiful trophy, and we can enjoy it the day of tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy this moment. Your new champion, ladies and gentlemen, Barbora Krejčíková.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you. Thank you.
And she's now clutching that Venus rosewater dish very tightly indeed, as if with her last few words there, the achievement started to sink in. Finally, a day off tomorrow. The Olympic Games can wait. And what lovely words she managed to find to describe the impact that Jana Novotná had on her life at one of the most emotional moments of her life. And I think the word that she used on more than one occasion was unbelievable. Overused in sport. But I think today, Gigi, that pretty much fits the bill.
Certainly does. I was trying to keep up with how many times she did say unbelievable as it starts to sink in, and I'll have to break the news to her that tomorrow probably won't be a day off. There'll be more interviews, and there'll be the photo shoot of Barbora Krejčíková as the Wimbledon champion. And Kim, you were watching on. It was emotional. It was very, very emotional for the backstory that it has. It was emotional in Roland Garros when she won, and she was talking about Jana Novotná and the influence. And Kim, for Barbora Krejčíková to win it here, where Novotná won the singles after the heartache she went through, it was a very emotional moment.
Yeah, emotional, and at the same time you draw a lot of power out, when you're out here competing and fighting, and you draw a lot of power up, out of those kind of circumstances and life-changing experiences. And but yeah, it's amazing to hear her speak about it. And you know, again, I said it earlier, when you walk into the members' locker room, Jana's picture is, you know, the way that she's posing there right now. There's a picture of Jana with that trophy. As soon as you walk in, it's right there. So these are the stories in tennis that a lot of people, you know, that you don't hear about. It's those kind of really intense relationships that you have with people that you lose in your life, and that you draw inspiration out to fight harder out there, to work harder, and to try to kind of build these memories and achievements. And so it's a great moment, and amazing for Czech tennis, amazing for women's tennis. Jana was an extremely kind player, great player. Always had nothing but good things to say about other people. So it's really nice to see Barbora recognize Jana in this in the speech, and to feel that connection.
Jasmine Paolini just had a round of applause as she made her way off, but then she turned around because there were some young children asking for her autograph, and she has her runners-up plate in her left hand as she signs with a pen as many held-out programs, inflated balls as she possibly can. And there was a smile on her face as she did a little turn to the crowd, and she's still smiling now because what she has achieved this year alone is absolutely incredible. And as Russell said, on Monday she'll be the world number 5. Naomi Krejčíková, there's a stat going around saying she is the second lowest ranked player to win the Wimbledon singles title since rankings were published in 1975. She's the world number 32 at the start, but we have to remember she is a former world number 2, and with this win she's back into the top 10.
Yeah, she's a former Grand Slam champion, she's a former world number 2, and rankings don't always give you that full picture, do they? So although it's another stat to say, I don't think it's a true representation of her level, and more importantly of her experience, because I think that's so often what it comes down to in the big matches, in the big moments. And in today's final, it was just that one blink, that one moment from Paolini in the third set, but I think more importantly it was Krejčíkova's level. The first and the third set, what did she lose in the end? 4 points on serve in the third set, something like that. 1 point coming into the final game, maybe a few more in the end down to nerves, so she was trying to push it. In fact, she lost more match points than she did total points on serve coming into the last game. It was just completely nerves, trying to push yourself across the finish line. But so emotional to listen to them both. I mean, how Paolini carries herself, how she just oozes class and professionalism, and she almost reminds me of Alcaraz in the way that they have that youthful joy of the sport. It's a game for them, it's play, and it shows in their tennis, and it's so entertaining to watch. And I'm not surprised that how much the crowd warmed to her. I think she was a lot of people's favourite to win today, but how special for Barbora Krejčíková, who, by the way, is one of the nicest players. She's so lovely, she's such a nice person, and she's just thoroughly deserving of the win.
And she is making her way around centre court, holding up the Venus rosewater dish, saying thank you to everybody who's applauding her, and a massive smile on her face. And it probably will take a little bit of time to sink in what she has achieved out here. And Kim, when she just said very quietly into the microphone, this is the best day of my tennis life. And this coming from someone who has already had the experience of winning a Grand Slam title.
Right, and then I think she followed up with, this is the best day of my life, she added to it. So it just shows how much it's meant, and maybe she didn't have the belief before the tournament because she didn't have the preparation, but it just shows that in sports in general, you don't always need that perfect preparation. You can turn things around with, we see it often in tennis, especially where you see a Grand Slam champion have, very close kind of first or second round where they really had to battle, and sometimes that little bit of, extra confidence that you get out of a match like that can kind of push you through in tough moments later on in the tournament. So an amazing achievement, and she may not have believed it, but she's been there before, and that experience at the French Open a few years ago also helped her to kind of keep her calm, although she got nervous, but to kind of, what she said on court too, tell yourself, okay, even if I lose this game, I go to 5-all, and I kind of try to regroup and refocus. But she managed to, at 5-4, just play some important points really well, and the serve is what made the difference. Is that first shot of the rally got her out of a lot of tough situations.
Naomi, she did a social media Q&A. She's just had a little bit of time on her. And I think I, through that, found out more about her than I've known before. But one of the questions was, if you could become any other person for one day, who would you choose? And she replied, I love being myself.
What a good answer.
Quite like
it's
that.
a sports psychologist's dream answer, isn't it? She's just, but it doesn't even surprise me. She's so secure and content within herself. You know, she's not out there trying to be somebody she's not. She says, I like sewing and embroidery and I like doing Lego, and there's no, how are you going to celebrate this? I actually have no idea. I wasn't expecting to win this match. She's just so authentically herself, and she always has been on tour. And she's now a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, but I think she likes this one more than French Open.
Well, it seemed to be, because this is the best day of her life, as she hands some tournament towels, look at this, into the crowd. So someone is now getting hold. That young girl there, Russell, has the tournament towel of a Wimbledon champion.
Yes, it's an advantage being a child at a time like this, isn't it? I think
wheel them to the front.
that you are going to catch the eye of the champion. Although, of course, there have been quite a few moments in sport. I'm not suggesting it's happened on centre court where fully grown adults have tried to wrestle baseballs or towels out of the hands of children.
To see, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, and to her, she probably has about, 14 of them already, or 12 of them after her 6 rounds. So it's nice to be able to share them. And people have been asking me for the water bottles too, so they're getting popular. It's not just the towels, but the Evian water bottles are getting very popular too.
Someone's thrown it down a tennis ball from just above our commentary box. Nicely taken in her left hand. She's signed it and she's tossed it back. And now she's continuing to sign caps and programs and tennis balls for people lucky enough to have made their way down to the front row. She's very, very close to the exit. So we're going to wave goodbye for a moment to Barbora Krejčíková just shortly, although I'm sure she really does want this moment to last forever as she takes perhaps one final tennis ball. No, she's going back for more. There are more programs to be signed.
Oh, she could be there a while, Ross. And when she walks out of centre court, she will see her name on the winner's board, Wimbledon champion Barbora Krejčíková 2024. Kim
Takes engraving that, doesn't it?
It was very quick engraving. Kim Clijsters, Naomi Brodie, Russell Fuller, thank you very much for your company this afternoon on Centre Court. You are with 5 Live Sport. We're going to recap some news headlines for you elsewhere, but with the time just gone 4:30, let's bring you up to date with the latest news, courtesy of Giuliano Casadei.